This program is rated MA. It contains adult themes, coarse language, sexual references, and violence.
All right, what's up, everybody? It's Open Comms. Sorry for we were a few minutes late starting. I was massively held up in traffic coming home. But we're here. I'm Drayden. We got, that's not Dirt McGirt, believe it or not. Actually, she's that way. That's Rain. We got LB. And that's not also, fuck, I didn't get the two names right. Okay, Manic Velocity is not Manic Velocity. We got Blastum back this week. How's it going, man?
Hey, good.
Then we have Claire from Skill Yourself joining us. How's it going?
Hello, how are you?
And we got House. He's a totally independent pilot. He doesn't need no alliance in his life. So, hi, House.
Heyo.
Oh. And
Yeah, did you guys hear me?
Yeah.
okay, no, no. Dirk is. I was like waiting for Dirk to start his thing. No, Dirk's not here this week. He is out at a wedding, but he's in a hotel right now with trippy ass floors, getting drunk. That's probably not a great combo.
We already have Brisk in the chat. This show already sucks and it barely started. Look at him. He's your number one critic, Drayden.
Fucking Brisk, dude. You're off the show, man. I have the power.
He's got a man cold, so he's grumpy. Leave him alone.
No, so I'll get those two names changed really quick. Man, I set this up in about 4 minutes. It usually takes me half an hour, so.
Yeah, I mean, we can jump into like the big Eve news. I think that everyone is pretty aware of.
I figured like the patch stuff and the Eve Down Under stuff we'll get to in a bit. I was thinking.
You want to talk about that first?
New trailer.
Well, hold on. I gotta uphold some standards while Dirk's gone. We gotta go
yeah,
in order.
This is on our A block. What do you have on
A
your
block, the trailer's first thing.
Oh, okay. I'm
what do you
looking
have
at my
first
own
on your
notes.
doodle
But...
pad?
All right.
What do you have on your doodle pad?
Your etch a sketch doesn't count.
Well, the first one I can't talk about because that's OPSEC apparently. I was asking Lady Scarlet about it. She said nope, not yet. I was like, okay. Well, there's a State of the Union. The Sweet 16 thing that ended. We can do that really quick.
Oh yeah.
So
You're kind of salty about this, aren't you?
I am salty. Because they gave you 18 days to log in 16 times, and at the end you got they said what, but it's like 1.1 million because you get the other 100,000 if you were Omega or Alpha. You get the extra million if you were Omega. I thought I had only missed 2 days because I was like, cool, okay, you can miss 2 days and still get it. And I logged in on the Sunday, which was the last day, and I claimed day 15, and I just was like, wait, what? So I apparently missed a third day, and I did not get the million skill points on either of my accounts. So
Yeah, and I know CCP released a statement saying that they weren't going to reimburse anyone for any reason whatsoever of like why they missed those 16 days. And I know it's weird because like a lot of people were super upset, but other people were just like, whatever, I missed it. It sucks. But like it's free SP, and I don't know why people got really upset about that.
I wasn't
wanted the
super
SP.
upset. It wasn't like I was just kind of like I was just more mad that I missed a day that I don't remember. The 2 days that I remember missing were days from me being drunk. So I was like, if I can remember the drunk days I missed, how did I forget an obviously sober day I missed? But
yeah, it's
the main downside was because we'll get to the patch in a bit, but the new Triglavian ships are coming out, and a lot of alliances are going to be using them. I think we're going to be using them, and they've been telling people start training for this stuff, and I was like, that's fine. I'll use my 1,000,000 skill points to train all that stuff. I don't need to do it yet. And
Oh,
so
no.
now
Now you
it's like we're
can't.
gonna start rolling out these like Triglavian ship doctrines, and here I am going, I can't fly that, I can't fly that because I didn't get my skill points.
Yeah, that sucks.
So
I will be.
fuck me.
I was gonna say it was a pretty significant amount, but I think a lot of people have just been like Drayden's like, man, this sucks, but a lot of people are like demanding action from CCP, and it's like you just didn't
Oh.
get free shit. Like some people have been like really entitled about it, which I
The-
don't understand, but
The people demanding action from CCP are the same people who tell people that their dad's a lawyer and they're going to have a class action suit against Call of Duty. So don't worry
Yeah.
about those fucking people.
Yeah, I mean,
about the whiners.
I,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
the-
just salt. It's just salt.
Yeah, the fact they had to come out with a thing saying like, no, we told you what the parameters were like a week before it started, and this is what you had to do, and if you didn't do that, then you don't get them. It's like, yeah, that's understandable. Like, so all the people that were really upset and mad at CCP, it's like, it's not their fault. They told you what you had to do. If you can't do it, well, then you don't get. It's free stuff too. It's not.
And even the statement they put out caused more salt.
I mean,
Salt upon salt. I had to take extra blood pressure pills.
but I mean, it's not like
Oh
they
my
were
God.
removing skill points if you didn't log in. That would be something else. But
At least you got your monocles.
That's right. The monocle's important.
I do
That's
have
more
monocle.
important than the skill points, if we're being really honest.
Yeah, I mean, I got
I don't
some.
think I
I shouldn't have
actually
sold
looked.
mine.
Yeah, that monocle was super duper important.
I
Anybody
mean-
else noticed that the monocle advertised was on the other eye?
Oh,
Yeah, if you like paid attention to like when they showed it in the little rewards window, the monocle was for the complete opposite eye.
Can we blame CSM for that?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Done. Brisk, you
Blame
heard it here.
CSM for everything.
but
But there was a lot of salt on Reddit. You were not the only one who mistook the deadline for the rewards, right?
well, no, I didn't mistake the deadline. I just
No,
'cause-
but that's the main thing was people were like, well, it's supposed to be end on the 20th, but it's downtime from the 19th. Doesn't make any, but whatever. Either way,
Oh yeah. That
people were
I think
salty.
that's why. Yeah, because later on into it, I thought I was still on track. So that was probably something that I mistook. Is that because I was looking and it's like there's 6 days left in the event, and I'm like I claimed my thing, and I was like, okay, cool. There's 6 more to go, and my mind was thinking 6 more days, but that when it's saying 6 days left in the event, that's including the day you're on, which I had already just claimed the prize for that. So that's where I was getting messed up, but.
I can see why that would be confusing, yeah. But again, it's just like it's free shit. Like you missed out. It sucks, but it's not like the end of the world. It's not as bad as like if you didn't train the battleship skill before it split to racial battleship
Yeah.
skills. It's not that bad.
But oh god damn it, it is up there, isn't it? I told you I did this on the fly, and I still need to change names too.
it's all right. You're doing good.
Yeah, I'm trying.
You're doing fine.
Oh, something.
You
Okay, so
work through it.
let me find my
Your doodle pad?
no, no.
Your booze. Yeah, get some booze in you. That'll smooth things.
Yeah, we're gonna do a shot because coming up Tuesday is Big Country's birthday, so we're gonna throw a shout out to BC. I don't know how old he would have been. Sorry, I think it would have been like 45. That's my guess, but
47,
young.
I thought. Yeah, he
Oh.
was a few years younger than me, and at least 1 or 2 years younger than Dirk. But yeah, BC.
oh yeah, we still got the Grumpy Cat thing. Anyway, yeah.
Shots to BC.
BC.
To BC.
Rip,
BC.
brother.
Another quick thing was Streamfleet is here. They might I don't know, they might not come on comps, but they were saying they might be able to, but shit, the frame rate. But yeah, so Streamfleet is down. Eve Down Under just started, so they're down there. You want to just
Do we
start
wanna-
on Eve Down Under?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it live.
So Eve Down Under was actually I want to say just started. Actually, yesterday was the first day. So I believe they had I want to say they called it a cruise or like a boating event Thursday. They all met on Friday. They actually started the event. So normally it's Saturday, Sunday. This time they actually started on Friday, Saturday. So if you're thinking Australian time zone, because I know we're US, so we're like 12 hours behind them. So they're actually going live right now. I won't be able to link the Twitch chat, but I'll link it in TeamSpeak if a mod here wants to link it.
Yeah, I'll do it.
So they had so first of all, CCP Mimic is back. I know she has been away last year, so she's actually back now. And so she was giving one of the keynotes, and then they have CCP Hilmar there, so the CEO actually talking, and folks are able to ask him questions. They have Larrikin. Oh geez, who else?
Did he talk about losing
I
his
saw-
thorax?
Hilmar, I don't think he did, but
I got like halfway through his
Vara's
thing.
there.
Bar, yep, CCP Karker. So CCP Karker's there, and then they have a bit more. I want to say they have like CCP Dopamine's doing the tournament. They obviously have the Streamfleet guys there. They have the normal Eve Down Under folks. I believe that is Chimera. I think his name is. I'm not 100% sure. But they have a lot of folks down there. It sounds like everyone's enjoying it. They're giving new presentations of things to come. That was they touched on it a bit at the keynote. So the 3 new Triglavian ships, which they actually announced at Amsterdam. And then they also have, I think it's called like the UI pointer. So you can like show new players like via a link that they can click on, and it will show them how to access their UI. So instead of trying to describe things, you can just kind of show it to them, or like link it and then have it show it to them. Oh, they have CCP Antiquarian there too. So they've had a couple keynotes. They're doing some now, and then they're going to do like the tournament finals. So the winners of those, the tournament. So that's 2v2s. The winner's actually going to go to FanFest 2020 next year, and they actually released the dates of FanFest, and I believe it was April 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So right after, like the very 1st of April, like right after April Fool's Day, they're going to actually do FanFest. So if people are trying to get ahead of the game and they want to plan to go to Iceland next year, those are the dates you want to keep an eye on. And then with that, they're kind of giving, so they announced CSM candidates. They've been kind of hinting at that stuff that's to come in the summer. I don't actually know what off the top of my head, because I was only able to watch a handful of those keynotes, but I know they're going to be announcing some more stuff then again at Eve North. But this focus here for this for Eve Down Under is actually the Triglavian incursions. So they have a new trailer out for that. Oh, I could probably link that too if someone else wants to link
Yeah, I'll
it.
grab it.
I super enjoyed the trailer. I don't know about you guys. Do you guys like the trailer?
I liked the trailer. Hyper was saying, mentioned like a shitty trailer, but I think he was more talking. He was associating the expansion itself to the trailer, and it's like, no. You're talking about content. This is like if you just judge, you got to judge a trailer on cinematic value, and as a cinematic, it was pretty badass. I liked it.
It was reminiscent of the This Is Eve trailer with the real life fleet comms between the pilots. So I thought it was
yeah,
cool.
and
Yeah,
like so.
To me, it was like they took the best from Incursion, Rubicon, and This Is Eve and rolled it all into one.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
made it very clear of like they said, oh, why do I even play with you guys? Like they're clearly talking like as non-universe accepting
like the fourth
capsuleers.
there was no fourth wall in this thing. It was basically presented as a game and not like in the mindset of or the view of being in the universe itself, which was kind of funny.
While
Yeah.
still leaving the RP element there at the same time. It was a very good middle ground they found.
I think so. I think it was funny too because the one pilot was like, "Oh no, I have implants on this clone," and like everyone was like, "Oh my god, relatable." # Eve is real. Like it's
But-
shit. It's shit everyone says.
But it had the world arc in it. I remember last time we were talking about the world arc, there was a whole speculation of like, is it real or is it a troll? So that is going to be a thing. It's just not going to be a player ship. It's going to be
Oh, the Trig Death Star, you mean?
yeah.
No,
basically.
this is the new and improved Supremacy.
Oh, is that the big Star Wars thing?
Yeah, the one that they
Yeah.
completely destroyed and invented in like the matter of 20 minutes in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, basically. The one that had lasers that arced like artillery.
Yeah, and like made more Star Destroyers. Basically, CCP made that, except like a lot cooler. Like it has a wormhole generator basically in the middle, so we can just launch armadas at you.
Yeah, fuck man. Yes, right now. Yes, I am actually being true NC Doc right now. But when I joined, I told Lady, I was like, hey, Friday nights I do the show. I'm not gonna be able to go on Fleets Friday nights, and she said that was fine. So I have an excuse, and this is it right here.
I feel like that new pointer thing is going to be abused a lot to show people in NC Dot where the undock button is.
Oh, speaking of the undock button, eventually we'll break down the patch notes. But one thing I did notice in there, it said they're doing an update to the undock, and a couple other things like basically I think they're changing the look of the undock button. And I don't know if I remember last time when they moved the undock, it used to be over on the Neocom, and now it's on the station.
I am so salty about that move. I'm still salty about that move.
I'm used to it now, but like everyone freaked out. So are people going to freak out again if they change the way it looks? Like,
Absolutely,
it's funny how people get
100%.
pissed about little things.
Every time they change
Reddit's
anything,
gonna be
people
on
freak
fire.
out.
We all know this.
Yeah, what was it, Claire?
Absolutely, everyone's gonna freak out.
I mean,
It's
people
what we
freak out
do.
about everything.
It's
Change
tradition.
bad,
It's
hello.
a proud tradition this community has. Every time they change something, we freak out.
And oh man, did someone got it? Could someone put a link to the patch notes on there?
Oh.
Like, well, just because I mean, I don't want to go. I mean, I guess I could go and search for them, but just to have them pulled up. I got a few things on here. That I could start with. Oh,
I was gonna say I didn't even read the patch notes. I saw like they
I actually read
nerfed the Kiki a little, but like that's all I got to. I was really busy at work.
yeah,
today.
I actually read the patch. I some of the stuff I kind of just like grazed over at the very end, and that's like more of just like fixes to things that I don't use. Like there's some just like little bug fixes and tweaks here and there on. They made a lot of changes. A lot of the changes are coming to the Wardeck stuff, but some of the other things like we fixed this little. Like, what was it? Like they fixed improper use of pronouns in this error. I skipped over that shit like that. Except I did read it because I know about it. But no, 64-bit. That's gonna be a pretty big one.
They announced that at EDU.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of the patch stuff they announced at EDU. Like they didn't release the full breakdown. I mean, a lot of this stuff has been talked about before, but this is like they brought the full release that's going to be coming out on Tuesday at downtime. They said extended downtime, like it should only be about 30 minutes. I'm like, that isn't that normal? Blast them, thanks man. 32 months. I don't know if months is German for months, but I tried it.
Normal now for a downtime is minutes.
Really?
So a 30-minute downtime is.
I'm never awake at that
Yeah,
time.
it's
It's like
like
4 a.m. for me. So.
It's like 5 to 10 minutes now. It's really they've gotten it down a lot, like really well.
Nice.
It's almost like it's their job.
But yeah, so 64-bit client. It's still going to be a beta, but it's been getting tested a lot on Sissy. It has been for like a month now, 2 months. It's been on Sissy that you can use.
I think so. It's an opt-in beta, right? So you don't
It's an
have to do
opt-in. So it's not going to be on by default, but I'm assuming the first time I would hope and I would guess the first time you log in after the patch, it'll probably give you and ask you like, do you want to use the 64-bit client or
Might be like
no?
an
Because
app
it's something you
and
have to
it'll be hidden
download,
in
wouldn't it? So it would probably be on the launcher itself. I would guess.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, you can opt in and use the 64-bit client, the beta, but I would assume there's not too many bugs with it, or they wouldn't be putting it on Tranquility yet. So that'll be nice. That will eliminate a lot of the. It's funny because when I'm on Fleet sometimes and we know there's gonna be a bigger fight, they're like, everyone go potato mode. I'm like, what? Why? I never do. I keep that shit on max graphics, even if it's like a 3,000 person fight. It's like, I'd rather have my game crash than make it look like shit. So.
Yeah, I roll the dice. If it crashes, whatever.
Yeah, assume
That
nothing.
works
I probably should.
Okay, until you get up to like 3-4 clients or more, and then you can't do that anymore.
No, Daddy does one account. I'm a one account master race kind of guy.
Yeah, I am too. I have 2 accounts, but one is like a Swiss Army knife, does everything, and then the other guy is jump freighter pilot and industry, like the 2 things that my main doesn't do. And Vicross, thanks for the 2 months, man. But although I am training my alt to do dreads because apparently in this day and age, no one wants you to fly capitals on your main. It's like alts only, so
I know,
I
heresy.
just don't ever get to fly capitals, and I want to.
Macross was asking if the performance increase is noticeable on the 64-bit client. So
I haven't used it yet.
Yeah, I'm not
But
sure either. I haven't gotten to test
Talking
it.
in Station has done a couple streams on the 64-bit client, and it looks better a little bit, but the main performance increase you're going to get is in the big fights, right? Like you're not going to cap out on your RAM anymore.
Yeah,
if you have a decent amount of RAM. Like if you're running 16 bits of RAM, your client shouldn't crash in the big tie-dye battles anymore on 64-bit.
If you don't have 16 bits, you can always download more RAM.
True. Can you link that? Somebody link that down
No,
Are you
there.
saying
no,
16
no,
bits
it's a
of
bad
RAM? Like,
website.
are you guys
I don't know.
meaning
I don't know.
gigs?
Someone said bits.
Gigs.
Oh,
Okay, you
gigs.
said
I heard
bits.
it
I was
wrong.
like, if you have 16 bits of RAM,
Fuck, dude, my troll was inaccurate.
I think like Commodore 64s had more than that. But yeah, no, it's basically just the stuff that taxes your computer and bogs your system down, like to where you know that it's not your internet connection. It's like you just game starts shitting itself, and that's because it's already maxed itself out at the what was it? It's normally like 2 gigs of RAM is what 32-bit maxes out at, or is it 4?
4. It's 4 gigs.
So now you can use 8 with the 64-bit.
No, that's not true. There's no cap on 64-bit.
Oh, well then excellent. Yeah, so it basically will just make it to, like we were saying, like, oh, go to potato mode, and that's not, like, usually when people go to potato mode, it's not because of their graphics card, it's because their system can't handle all the stuff on
because when the
local.
client, it's not even that your system can't.
It's not the
handle it.
system,
Your
it's the
system
client
can
can't,
handle. Yeah, the client can't, and so it just shuts down, which absolutely makes no sense. If the server can handle it and your computer can handle it, then why is the client like terminating that? But maybe that's just me. I don't understand it. So
The server can't handle it, if we're honest.
that's
Well,
probably
the
tie-dye-
server's performance versus the client performance is totally different
Yeah.
things. And 64-bit's not tied to server.
Yeah, if
performance
the
at all.
server can't handle it, that's when you start seeing tie-dye. But you can have fights that are, tie-dye's only at like 80%, which is, almost full speed, and it's not having an issue keeping up with stuff, but your client could be shitting itself and like going down to like 3 frames per second and causing hangups and stuff, and that's on your local end. And it's not because of your system, it's just because the client is maxed out on its available RAM it can use.
So it's Bowser asked if he had 64 gigs in his system, would it work better? It's only going to use as much as it needs. So if you're running one client, there's no scenario that I can think of where you're going to eat up 64 gigs of RAM. But if you're running multiple clients, if you're multi-boxing, then yeah, you could potentially use all 64 gigs of your RAM if you're running everything on max graphics.
Yeah. So people are saying no more potato. Yeah, basically, essentially what this is supposed to do is make it to where you don't have to turn your system to potato mode in big fights, even if you know that your system can handle it. That's the whole point of this. It's not going to make the connections better. It's not going to fix tie-dye because has nothing to do with the network. Yeah, I'm going to do another shot.
It's shots time?
It's shots time.
Yeah.
Are we
not
doing
fun.
this shot too? Should we do
Friday.
it?
Eve Down Under. Eve Down...
Yeah. EDU. Or we could do EDC. So Vegas had EDC last weekend.
What's EDC?
That go.
The
Electric
Pew
Daisy.
Down Under.
Electric Daisy Carnival. So it's
I
the
said the Pew Dog.
electronic carnival. So anyway, so a lot of people wearing absolutely nothing in clothing. So shots.
Like an EDM festival?
Oh yeah, like with the bedazzled hats and like the
Don't you guys already have
Oh, it's
Burning
crazy.
Man?
like string that's supposed to be underwear.
Burning Man's up in northern Nevada. So we have EDC
I thought it was
down
out.
here.
I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. You probably don't want to have a bunch of people on drugs dancing in the Death Valley. that sounds like a bad.
I don't have any EDM on my soundboard. I think this is as close as we get.
No TS.
That's kind of EDM. Sounds like tropical E EDM.
Yeah.
No
Island
Kaiju,
EDM.
Tiesto, those guys.
Sounds awesome.
Is Tiesto performing in Vegas?
Yep. He still has a residency a show.
Where at?
Oh, one of the MGM properties, I think.
All right, I'm trying to figure out where I want to like club at for Vegas.
I should actually know that's something I should start doing too, since I'm not going to Toronto anymore.
Yeah.
Man, you guys going to
All right.
bed.
We're still in A block though. What's next in A block there, Drayden? Come on, stay on target.
I'm trying to get the link to the. Okay, we're gonna move on to some of these things. Because I'm not kidding. I wrote on the.
You said
just
they're
little
they're
bullet notes.
OPSEC. Drayden, hide that. That's
OPSEC, Drayden, Jesus, you're kicked.
It says NC State of the Alliance. That's all it says.
Yeah.
I can't like.
Okay. I've
What's
got a
your-
wormhole.
what's your
I
State of
can't-
the Alliance say?
Sorry.
I can't say yet.
What? Are you guys on docking?
No, I did ask Lady Scarlet, but it was a little
Offset.
too late. She's like, I got to get Vince's permission before he probably wouldn't care, but if and
You
he's
just leak
he's
wrong
Euro, so he's
information.
asleep right now. So she's like, if you'd asked earlier, we could have definitely gotten you the okay for it. I was like, okay, well, I won't talk about it, but we can talk about no, we'll stay on the patch because we're doing that. No, I was trying to find the link to the thing, but
So we talked about the trailer.
we talked
about the
talked about
Trig
64-bit.
incursions.
We got new ships and new
64-bit.
industry.
New
Uh,
agency. Wanna
New
talk about new
ammo.
agency.
Yeah, let's do agency because the ships I want to have the actual
Oh,
specs to
fuck
look
the
at.
agency.
Well, that's what everybody's saying. It's fuck the agency. They're redoing. it.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
it-
going to be redoing UI and adding some things to it. And they're adding.
It's
like
gonna
some-
look nicer.
You can make
checked it
bookmarks
out
on
on Sissy, it
pages,
actually
and there's like they talked about some funnel thing that funnels you to the pages you really want to use. I don't
do
know what that
know-
means until I could see it, but
The agency did have like the agent finder, which was apparently absolutely garbage. I used it like maybe once, and then now they're bringing back the old agent finder, so that's good news for the folks who use agents.
Right.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it looks a lot nicer. I tried it out on Sissy myself. That I can give him that.
Oh, you tried it, House? Can you tell us anything else about it?
It had everything a lot more sectioned off. Like instead of just being presented that just list of crap that we have now, now you just go to the Pacific section. Like it actually has 5 panels that are Pacific or on career paths, and you just click that, and then it takes you to a list instead of just having that map and just a list of stuff that's just I don't know what to do. Mining, pirate base, what?
Right. Well, like people shit on the agency all the time, but I think it's something that's pretty important to new players, and new players are the life of the game. So people shit on the agency, but it's important. It's an important thing, I think.
well, so speak of the agency. One of the things that will start getting used a lot. Now, this was one of the things that I saw. And I think it's one of the points that a lot of people are looking at is that you are going to now be able to look at anomalies in
Oh.
a system remotely. So this is
Why?
Exactly.
well,
Why?
it's another one of the, that's I've heard a lot of people upset about it because it's one of those like free intel things without having
So
to
you
go
can
get it.
sit. You can sit. Not even like I can sit and
You can
Pandemic
sit in
Legion
Gita and
staging
see what anomalies are
and like
in.
watch
on
like say
perimeter.
Guardians of the Galaxy and they're ratting anoms and then be like, oh, I'm gonna go like someone's ratting here. Let me find a path
Well, it's
here.
not going to show you the people in them, but you can.
Well,
look...
no. But like if they show up and vanish, right? Like
So
takes
it's
you how many?
it's,
Like how
it's
long does it do a
regional.
ratting
It's
anom?
it's distance based. So if you're in a region or if you're in a constellation, you will see all the anomalies in that constellation. But outside of the constellation, you'll just see that the agency's saying, "Hey, there's something over here," right?
Oh, brisk.
Fucking Brisk. He's like, it took Drayden half an hour to get the names right. Woo! I did it though. You
We
give
do a
me enough
shot
time.
for the brisk sub
Yep.
and then the
No,
Drayden
you gotta give me a-
45 month
we
sub.
can't do
Give me
shots
30
for
seconds to
subs.
pour another beer.
Whatever, I'm doing
Well,
shots for subs.
Sure.
You can't just do a
I just
shot
happen
because
to
you're
be having
thirsty.
a beer in my hand for somebody subscribing at the same time. I don't know.
You're just thirsty. We're just thirsty.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we'll do a shot and then we'll get into the anomaly thing.
So the shots for November and then Jack Numbers of Habit. Love you, team.
November.
Yeah, he's my fleet mate or my court
Oh,
mate.
I was thinking the month.
Close enough.
All right. But yeah, so the anomaly thing, I didn't know it was regional, so I guess only in the region. But so you can look and it used to be like you could see how many ice belts were in there, but you didn't know the identities or anything like that, and you couldn't see any of the anomalies. Now
You'd
you
have
can
to
be
jump into the system, yeah.
you had to jump into the system and open up your the D-scan thing, but now it's on the agency.
Probe scanner, yeah.
Well, yeah, the probe scanner. But now you can look at them and basically, I mean, one of the first uses I thought of was a lot of times when people are hunting ratters or miners or a lot of people say, oh, they could use this against bots. Like bots are so quick. It's going to save you a few seconds, but I think it's going to more catch or help people catch real people playing because they have slower reaction times and they might not be paying attention like constantly. Is you can look because a lot of times you're like, okay, we jump into the system, find the hordes, and we'll shotgun up to them. But then you got to jump in. You all have to open your D-scan. You have to be like, okay, there's 3 of them, and then someone's got to be like, I'm going to ANC Tech 6, and the other person's like, I'm going to G51. And like everyone's, and then they go, but that's like 2 or 3 seconds worth of time delegating and finding out.
Yeah.
Whereas now you could sit on the other side of the gate and be like, okay, you're going to go to GTAC 9, you're going to go to this, and you're going to go to that. And then you all jump in and immediately warp off to where you're going. So it's like it's going to speed up the time that you can jump into stuff. So for ratters and miners, this is not, I'm sure none of them like it.
No,
I
think
for
it
pirates
is,
and
like-
hunters, I'm sure they love it.
It's a huge advantage to that, but like at the same time, I would say that's like almost unreasonable because like usually when you're hunting, you have to like, okay, where have the rats, like where have people been, like where are the rats dying, what like what is it, ADMs, what ADMs are going up, and like you had to use other methods to try and figure out where people are going, not just, oh guys, there were like 15 SIGs here, and then like 20 minutes later they all changed, so clearly people are ratting here, let's just burn over in like, you know, ships and just kill them.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's such free intel. What Claire?
It takes away from the actual hunt.
Well,
That's
okay,
the
so
issue.
King Ares, now this might be something that you, because I don't have shit knowledge on wormholes, but LB lives in a wormhole. King Ares is saying no wrong.
do.
There is no wormhole surprise hunting anymore, and everyone will know where to go to roll us out.
Yeah, so the bigger issue is not, you can see anomalies in a system, but you can also see signatures in the system remotely. So you'll know if a wormhole spawns, or you'll know if a signature spawns in your constellation, which could be a wormhole, a data site, a relic site. I think that's a way bigger issue than being able to see the number of anomalies in the system remotely.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
so-
super
so-
fucked up.
So a nullsec block could potentially have people on patrol looking for anomalies that are springing up. Immediately going there, scanning them down, rolling those holes closed. There goes your nullsec wormhole content.
You don't even need people looking. You just pull up the agency and you can see in your constellation any new things that spawn. You'll know.
Sure.
The
Facts.
facts.
That Inco, thank you for your resub.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
Thanks, Theed.
That's super fucked up though. Like, oh hey, I want to go like figure out if people are gonna come gank me from a wormhole. Let me just find that wormhole and just like throw a hick through it a couple times. That's fucked up.
Yeah,
I mean, but like, let's be honest. People are lazy and they're not going to do anything about it. So like, people will still die to wormhole ganks. Like, Inner Hell will still get their supers every other day. It's fine.
I
Your
still,
dog
need to
wanna
be
come on the
making
show?
space more safe right now.
Yeah, I
like,
still-
it's too safe.
I feel like that type of free intel though, like the people who do know how to use that stuff are gonna abuse the shit out of it. Like there's probably some groups who used to like get wormholes rolled into them and then they'd have to fucking deal with the response fleet and try to get those people away from their, you know, ratters and miners. But now they're just gonna continuously roll holes because like you don't have any statics in nullsec. Like they just vanish from your nullsec system and end up who the fuck knows where. It's not like a normal wormhole, so they can just roll that shit forever and like keep people out.
Yeah.
The other thing it does is it removes part of the exploration from exploration, right? So if you're
Most of the
solely an exploration
exploration?
player, if you're solely an exploration player, you can look at the map and be like, well, there's nothing in this area. Why would I fly through it?
There we go. I think I
That-
finally found it.
What'd you find?
Yeah, it takes out the risk of
What?
disappointment.
The patch notes. God, like
Well, we linked
We've
that
been
20 minutes
linking
ago.
them.
Yeah, we took
Thanks,
care of
guys.
it.
Trading.
I got your back. Got your
nice.
back, bro.
Well, I found it on my own. It only took 20 more minutes, but
Open comms quality right there. Just saying.
this is probably just push buttons and I don't actually like, you know, supply the content.
This is one of the most high production value shows on Twitch right now, actually.
Yeah.
128-bit quality. Just
we have,
saying.
we have a soundboard.
All the RAM.
You can't handle
What's
the
It
next?
is the truth.
Talk about the new
okay, so
agency.
now that I got the patches pulled up, ships. I want to talk about these new ships.
Oh shit! Here we go.
Well, okay, so before we get into
Heck
the new
yeah.
ships, they're making a few changes. I haven't really flown any Triglavian ships, so I don't know really. These changes seem kind of minor, except for the one that the Damavik is losing the optimal range bonus. It's being replaced with a 4% armor bonus per level. So less accuracy or less range, more resist. Power grid, it loses 3, or it gains 3 power grid.
It needs it. The Demovik's kind of shit.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't flown it, so I'm not sure. And then the Kikamora
Yeah. Kiki was super strong, so it got a nerf.
It
Good.
A little bit of a
lost
nerf,
all of its
not
drones.
super bad.
It
Good.
got
Yeah, I mean,
Confessor
so to
treatment.
Yeah, to be fair, like it's still strong without those drones.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
no
remember
drones.
when like drones were like Galente's thing and nobody else really had them? Like, not every ship needs a drone
Everyone-
bay.
Everyone has drones. Just slap some
There
ECs
was-
in there and dunk on nerds.
There was some drone ships on a few others. I think
Yeah,
I think
but it was-
Amara had a few drone. Like they had
yeah,
the
Amara had a couple. It was like a secondary
what's the
for Amara
curse
and
and then
primary
the-
for Galente, and that was it. Nobody else had them.
yeah, like the curse
Yeah,
and the
then
Tech One
there's,
version
like,
of the
mass
curse
weapon
and a few others,
proliferation
but
after Concord was
Arbitrator.
established.
Arbitrator, yeah. But yeah, so the Kikamura lost its drones, lost 3 power grid. One of the things, like, now I don't know, this isn't going to affect most people, but they're changing it to where you can now put Tech 2 ammo into faction storyline and officer weapons.
Yes, actually,
Yeah.
I like that change.
So
So
excited.
not many people are using officer weapons. Maybe some incursion runners, but okay, so they get a little bit more damage, or functionality.
Yeah,
I
they
guess.
get better bonuses in certain ways. So that being able to add Tech 2 ammo to that,
Yeah.
you'll get some really
Yeah,
deadly
it was just.
fits
But
now.
I mean,
I think the other thing too is that it was like super inconsistent. Like some faction guns or some officer guns could use T2 and then others couldn't.
but
And it was just like
well,
super
when they did the
inconsistent.
cap gun rebalance,
Yeah.
then capitals could use T2 and subcaps couldn't. So this brings it all into the same range.
yeah. So I think the faction guns is probably the more common thing that you can now load the Tech 2 ammos.
I already have faction guns for my Redeemer that I don't use.
Yeah, that's why I usually don't use faction weapons myself, is because I'd rather use Tech 2s.
Well,
In
I'm
some
just kinda
weapon
going on
types,
this.
you need the Tech 2 ammo. Like it's so significantly better.
Exactly.
Okay. Oh, so I was like, why are some of these like not even ship based? That's because it's just pure balance. We'll just finish this balancing, then we'll get into the new ships. They're gonna be putting in that ECM drone thing. That's gonna be nice.
Oh, the nerf.
I'm saying, yeah, as a Logi pilot, I like this. So ECM drones, the jam cycle will only last 5 seconds if you get jammed instead of 20 seconds, but the cycle time for the drone's jam module is still 20 seconds. So even if you get jammed, you're going to be jammed for 5 seconds, and then there's going to be 15-second gap before you can get jammed
No.
by the same
You
drone
have to
again.
take into account the fact that there is 5 drones, though.
I'm saying
Yeah,
by
each
that same
drone gets a
drone,
roll.
by the same drone.
Well, yeah, but who throws one ECM drone at you?
Me.
Well, come on.
Well,
No.
there,
Kick
are,
it.
there are there are certain ship types that can only carry, only 1 or 2 drones, and some people do prefer
True.
to have ECM drones instead of anything else in that two drone space.
But a lot of people don't talk about the number of drones that are in the flight.
Yeah,
They talk
well,
about the nerf to the rate and the cycle and all that shit, but they never talk about how there's 5 ECM drones in a flight
but
most of the time.
yeah, but here's
Yeah,
the
most
thing,
of the
LB.
time.
Like I'll fly Logi, and a lot of times there's not recently, but there's been fleets that we were going on that we just have hordes of ECM 300 or the Hornet 300s coming in, and all of our Logi wing would get hit with them, and each pilot would maybe have like 10 to 20 drones on them. And that, even though, yeah, there's 20 different drones, 10 or 20 drones on you, but like I would only get jammed maybe once every couple minutes. And so it's kind of nice that like I'm not getting jammed that often, but when I do, it's not for very long. And so it's still going to have a massive reduction in the amount of time that people sit jammed, which I'm fine with because fuck jams.
Hell yeah.
Well, I am a fan of ECM Warfare just because of my personal real life experience with it. But yeah, it was a little crazy how ECM worked. I do agree that this is a slippery slope, and you don't want to nerf EW too much, or it could completely ruin that aspect of warfare in the game.
Can we buff the other drones? The other the other
Yeah.
electronic warfare drones so that
I
they're
think
useful?
webbing
Because
drone-
currently they
webbing
don't do
drones-
it.
Exactly, I'm with
The
Claire.
weird drones
100%
nobody
with Claire.
uses.
Yeah,
Like
web
the
drones
webbing
I
drones
need
and
a,
the painter
need a
drones.
buff.
I think damping drones might be good, but yeah, usually they have a penalty, like a stacking penalty. So you're like,
all
oh,
of
I'm
them
gonna
do.
use all the drones, and then it's just like makes like 5% web. You're
I-
like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
what's
all-
worth it?
of the-
Jam
all of
is all or
them-
nothing, but everything else stacks. So
Well,
all the other EW drones don't work.
The reason why ECM doesn't stack is because ECM is it happens or it doesn't. It's a one-off thing, whereas all of the other electronic warfare drones is a constant effect. And if it didn't have a stacking penalty, everyone they would be overpowered. Because if you look at if you had a whole flight of webbing drones, you could have drones that have a more powerful webbing effect than a webbing module. So I think the stacking penalty is fine, but I think the stacking penalty needs to not be as severe.
Yeah,
to make
it needs
them
to be
viable.
adjusted.
Yeah, it's like make them to where like they maybe they come out at like
adjusted.
yeah, like maybe make them come out to where like half as effective as an actual module, or maybe 2/3 even, if you're gonna use a whole flight. So then it actually feels like it's not a wasted thing. So like if you really want damps or tracking disruption or webbing or whatever or target painting, then it's actually usable. Because right now they're garbage. Like there's no point in ever using them.
I think I would be like, I wouldn't even be opposed if they did it similar to how they like rebalanced reps. Like after a certain point, like your reps just kind of like diminishing returns. So like the more webbing drones you have or whatever, like it gets up to a certain point.
I mean,
and
that's
then
what we
it's
have
just-
now. That's what makes them shit.
Yeah, but like it's so severe right now, and then they just kind of stop.
Yeah, they just need to bump up the base stat for all of them, so that it's more, so that it ends up where like a flight of lights ends up like 75% of a tech, of a meta target painter for target painting
Well, I mean,
drones,
they
or
can do
webbing
that
for
with
webbing
the
drones or
stacking
whatever.
penalty, though, because I mean,
And then, but like then if you add like a ton more, like so if a whole fleet is using like webbing drones, it doesn't get more than like 85% or something like that.
yeah, or maybe you have like a diminishing, kind of like how they switched the rep, mainly focused on the
literally
capital
what
reps.
Rain just said.
Yeah,
Oh.
we just said that like 15 seconds ago.
I missed
Good
it.
talk, Drayden. Good talk.
Damn it! How did I miss that?
Good times.
I was probably looking at something. Sorry.
But yeah, no worries.
But yeah. So anyway, like that's going down a tangent though. So we'll swap back to this.
King Ares wants the undock button buffed. That's
Yeah,
a new
actually,
pointer
I
tool. Don't
don't
worry
know.
about it. We're getting a new pointer tool. We're gonna point out the undock button to NC dock.
Off the undock.
We'll get some
Just-
fights.
I actually like going back to the new ships. I actually like the Dragger, the new command destroyer. That's
Yeah,
coming
yeah,
out.
yeah. So
Oh, I'm so excited.
okay, so
Everybody
yeah,
was
let's just,
talking shit about that 2 weeks ago.
Let's just
They were
jump
saying it was
down.
trash.
Yeah, let's
I
just
think
jump
they
down to
changed
the
the
new ships.
stats.
Is not really my favorite. I would love a T3 Triglavian ship destroyer.
I think like originally it was like on all ways like shittier than the Kiki, and then they modified it a little to where it's actually on par with the Kiki as a support ship.
All right, so I also just linked the thing back in chat, just in case anyone has come in since. That thing is what we're talking about. But yeah, so with the new ships, yeah, let's just start on the Draugr. We'll start from the bottom up. Why not? Basically, it's a Triglavian Boucher, right?
Yeah, command destroyer. So as
Yeah.
the boosh effect, it can carry links like other
Yo,
command
Ezio.
destroyers.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure Cork has got his cream in his pants about this one.
Mm-hmm.
I won't lie, I
Wait, what?
kind of am a
Whose
little
pants
bit
are creamy?
myself.
What?
Cork's he literally just flies Bouchers. Like he'll multi-box like 3 or 4 Bouchers in the fleet, and he's good at it. I don't know how he does it. I wouldn't know what the fuck I'm doing with a single one. He runs like 4 of them like perfectly. So
Iki Tursa. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Iki
that
Tursa?
okay. So can we all agree that the names of all the Triglavian ships?
CCP announced the names, and I linked it actually in the meeting in our show notes. They say this is the proper pronunciation of all the names.
Oh, great. Because
So we can link it, or I'll link it, so you guys
yeah.
can have it.
So a Twitch clip?
Yep.
oh, nice. Have I ever talked to? No, I don't. I have undocked. Go look at my kill board. I
need
I
to
fly
add
Logi nonstop,
pronunciation.
but you'll still see like shit on like losses and kills on my kill board. I do undock.
That's what we need in the next patch. We need like a pronunciation tool just in the neocon. Just you can just press it. Be like, how do I pronounce this damn ship?
That'd be nice.
But yeah, so the Draugr is fine, and I actually know how to say that because I've played Skyrim.
Me too.
That's a good point.
But a lot of it, like all of the Triglavian, they have too many K's in them. It's like Akitsura, Kikimora, Damavik. It's like I don't know. It just I liked the Greek and the what do you call it?
Birds.
I'm having a brain blank. It's the mythological names. That's what I'm talking about. Mythological and animal names because they're super easy.
Yeah, now they're mixing like Japanese and Scandinavian, and it's kind of messing me up.
Man.
Well, this
I
is
mean-
supposed to be Slavic-based stuff, right? There's all the trig ships, Slavic stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
With the
that
barrage
will,
and
like-
all that
Well,
bullshit.
it seems to be like half Scandinavian, a little bit of Slavic, and then they're throwing in a couple of Japanese themes in there.
yeah. Well, I mean
We're running out of mythic stuff, I guess.
yeah, the little like video clip thing that they released where the Triglavians were talking definitely sounded like a Russian or a Slavic language of some kind, so or accent, I guess, not a language.
Yeah, they're keeping the Triglavians Eastern, to say the least, like in general, when it comes to cultural influences.
But yeah, so the ships though, let's start with the frigate first. The Nergal. Okay, this one doesn't have a K, but the Nergal. The thing I saw with these that I'm questioning on is they obviously have the damage. They get damage bonuses. Like this is an assault frigate, basically, but it has remote armor rep bonuses. So
They all do.
are-
They all
are-
do.
like even the tech ones.
Yeah, it's range. So if you look at its range, it's not amount.
Well, it's also
It's cap need.
cap need as well.
Yep, that they all do.
Okay.
They've all had that. That's why, like, when you see them out, like when you're doing abyssal sites, they'll rep each other, like spider tank it. But yeah, a lot
I
of
was wondering, I
folks.
was like, so are these fleets like everyone has like Logi broadcasts on, and like everyone's Logi / DPS at the
So-
same time?
Yep,
So
you've
I
got
don't
all
know-
those high slots. You got to use them.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
in theory you can only have one weapon because you only get
Right, you
one
only get the one.
disintegrator. So
Yeah.
I think that's like the intent for like maybe like small gang. I don't know about giant fleet stuff, but I could definitely see why they would do that. Also, for those in chat, it's the Gila, not the Gila. It's the Gila.
I will
Gila,
admit,
Rain,
I'll
you are
say
wrong.
Gila a lot, even though I know
Wow.
it is Gila.
Yeah, just think of Thor
Wow.
Ragnarok, everybody in chat.
It's mainly just on
I like that movie.
not tradition, but just the
It is
way
a good
everyone
movie.
uses it. Because if you say like Gila, everyone's like what? But if you say Gila, everyone knows what you're talking about. So
Wrong. It's a Gila. It's a Gila monster. It's from
it is a
fucking
Gila.
lizard.
I know.
Stop.
I've made
Stop.
this.
Stop being bad.
Stop. Get some help.
It's a Gila.
Now. Yep. You're looking for it now, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah, I saw
If
you.
you Google it, it's
I
an
said it.
actual
I said it.
lizard
And you like instantly
out
like
in
went to the
Southwest.
soundboard gaze, but
Yeah, you
Stop
can see
it.
him. You can actually find
Get
him
some
in
help.
the
he got it. Nice. You know what? It's shot time. We're almost.
need
At the,
bigger
we're almost at
buttons.
the hour mark. We're not even through the patch.
Everybody.
But yeah, so now the frigate only gets 2 high slots, so it's got the 1 weapon and 1 rep. It's got range and so like I said, I haven't flown any of the trig ships, so Rain, you know more about these than I do. Compared to the tech ones, is this like pretty similar to another one, just more powerful, or is this like a different style of
No,
sub?
I mean, so granted, I'm not that great at the DPS frigs, but it's so the Damavik is definitely terrible. So the Draugr, I believe, is the T2 frig, the assault frig.
Draugur's the
No,
the
that-
Boucher, the
Yeah, I
Nurgle.
do
Nurgle is the
Nurgle.
And the Demvec is piece of crap.
Yeah, so the Nurgle, I was gonna say the Nurgle's, I want to say better, more in line with like its counterparts. It's definitely gonna be more expensive, so you have to counter that out with what you're flying versus like say a Retribution or any of the other assault frigs. Yeah, Naka's right, except instead of Kestrel's, it's Tristan's. But yeah, no, I would say this one's definitely appealing a bit better than the Damavik. The
Kind of
Damavik.
reminds me of like the Harpy, to be honest, like that kind of appeal.
Man, Harpy fleets haven't been around for a while.
I don't know about
think
that.
I think
Brave
Jackdaw.
and
I
Pest
think
and such run them.
I think T3 destroyers kind of killed the assault frigs.
Oh yeah, they did. I took part in that. I
It's
won't-
like why fly assault frig when you can fly Jackdaws or Sveeples or something.
Well, once the ADCU was a thing, then they started to come back.
I mean, they're not totally dead. I'm sure, like in small game, they're definitely used. I think in small game they're used probably more than anything else. But you used to see like harpy, like full harpy fleets and stuff, like even in the big blocks, and now they don't do that.
Well, didn't
Tut-
Goon
Tut
use a
does,
fleet
Goons
of
does,
assault frigs? to
Brave
take
does.
down-
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't Goons use a fleet of assault frigs to take down that pirate shipyard? Like when those started coming out?
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
thought that was
yeah.
Punishers.
Punishers.
T1.
Punishers,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I was gonna
Green
say,
Punishers,
yeah.
but no.
We actually
Test,
took a.
Brave, Goons, everybody, lots of people use Harpies now. They're really good with the ADCU. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, Goons were
99%
using
sure.
Harpies as an actual fleet
Test uses
doctrine,
them.
but they used the
Recently?
Punisher to take down that fall.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, that was back then, but I'm saying like in recent, like since I joined NC Dot like two and a half months ago, and there was we took a retribution fleet out one time. I don't think we killed anything, because I think we went out and it was I think it was babysitting a Entosis op. I don't know, but yeah, so we took Punishers out, and then we haven't used frigates ever since then. So. But anyway,
I
so
prefer bomber fleets when it comes to frigate fleets nowadays.
God, I love all the undock thing. Yes, I never undock. I just this is how I play Eve.
I knew it.
Yeah. You caught me. No. So anyway, the cruiser.
All those times I invited you to the Wormhole Corp, take it back.
No, you know why I didn't join, right?
Because you won't undock to get to the
I
wormhole.
was saying, how am I gonna get
You're
there?
stuck in the station.
Yeah.
Sad.
I actually went into my Eve data file and deleted the undock button out of it, so I don't even have one.
That's against EULA. Banned.
You know what? It's fine with me.
Banned.
Like that it was like they don't allow modding in Eve, so I decided I would take it in my own hands and mod my client, so I never have to leave the station ever again.
Modding in Eve, that would be such a shit show.
It'll
I mean,
I
that's
would
what
like
we call
to-
bots.
If somebody
and
potted me, I
input
would like to wake up in
broadcasters.
Skyrim, if that could be possible.
Yeah, no,
Can we
no,
mod it like
they'll-
Oh my god.
there is no
No.
modding. There's no modding in MMOs. It's impossible. But okay, so the cruiser, is it the Ikitursa or Ikitursa?
Iki Tursa.
Ikitursa. The Tiki Torch.
The anime name.
I just want to say icky. I don't know.
Probably is going to be referred to as
Ikitursa.
the Icky. It's probably going to be
Anime
its
name
official
hack.
name.
Wait, you can mod an ESO? Theater, are you talking about mods or those add-ons, like WoW add-ons? Because that's not modding,
Yeah,
I guess.
'cause
I
you
wouldn't-
can mod.
I wouldn't call that.
So it'd be full of Thomas the Train Engines. all
Yeah, I
throughout
wouldn't
the
call
sky
that
right
modding
now.
because it doesn't change the actual game. It just changes. I don't know. It changes some UI stuff. Maybe that's a mod. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know enough about coding or any of that to get into like the technical differences between mods and add-ons. But yeah, so the Ikitursa. See, I don't know.
It sounds good.
I don't know why the Triglavian names are so hard for me, but yeah. So what? 5% bonus. This is precursor cruiser level. 5% bonus to heavy entropic disintegrator tracking speed, and 5% bonus to the disintegrator damage. So tracking damage, heavy assault cruiser level. You can eventually get 100%. No, that's at max. So 20% per level. To maximum damage multiplier bonus. So that's the thing that ticks up the longer you keep it on, right?
Bro,
What?
that's crazy.
What?
That sounds crazy to me.
Huh?
100%?
Hell yeah.
100% at level
20%
5.
per level?
100%.
Go big
20%, yeah. 20% per
Bro.
but that, so yeah, basically you can, so it's a saying that if you can rack it up to double damage
It ramps up twice
if you're
as
at
fast.
hack level 5, which a lot of people are.
I am.
I am too.
No big deal.
And then
I
7.5%
probably
bonus
would
to disintegrator maximum. Oh shit! So you get. Oh, that's max damage, not min. So that's not just overall. I don't know. That's a weird one. So
It's
this thing
range.
just gets
Range.
what? No, it's
It's range. For hack per level, it's range. It's multiplier, damage multiplier, and then maximum range.
I'm looking at the thing right now. It says,
It
yeah,
says
range.
maximum range.
I'm blind. You're right.
We're just walking you through these patch notes, Drake.
No,
It's all
I don't
good.
know why I'm
Sorry.
having so
It's
hard
down to them.
reading
It's
this,
alright.
but anyway, so I think it's almost shot time. But yeah, so yeah, my bad. Thanks, Claire. How the hell did I read range as damage? They both have the same letters. Yeah, so
They both have a G.
but nice. I mean, they do. But no, so it's got 2 damage bonuses though. One for the cruiser level, one for the heavy assault cruiser level. So this is gonna have a lot of damage, tracking, and range. So this is like pure damage boat. 4 high slots, and it still has the armor ripper bonuses and stuff. So now with these, so this thing has 4. You put one of them, obviously the disintegrator. Do you put 3 reps on it at that point, or do you have other? Do you
Well,
use like newts or anything else in the high slots on this?
I would assume if you're going to do remote reps, you're going to do remote cap transfer too, right? To make everything cap stable.
Would you need that even with the reduction in armor repair cap need?
I would assume so.
And these things have pretty good cap too. They have T2 cap recharge, so you're pretty solid.
I would put 1 cap transfer in there and then do the rest reps. And then the 1 disintegrate. I don't know. I don't fly these things. They're fucking terrible. I hate
Yeah,
them.
I can't. Well, I'm gonna have to start flying them once I can. Train
Well,
my
if you got
skills.
100 million skill points, you'd be better off.
Oh.
No, I have
Oh.
I have 100 and. Oh, you mean if I had that 1 million? Yeah, no, I was really sad about that because that was actually gonna get me all the Triglavian skills I needed, and
I wanted to
now
like.
I either
I
have to
wanted
just
to-
skirt fleets and like come up with excuses, which isn't gonna
Just fly
fly.
T1 Logi or T1 frigate tackle. Fly
I mean,
fast
I'm gonna
tackle.
probably have to. I'm just gonna probably have to just jump in. I don't ever fly dictors.
Never
I'm not very
fly
good
a
at it, but I
rifle.
have the
Get in
skills,
there.
so I'm just gonna have to start flying dictors until I
I mean,
can
they're
train
gonna
up
if
Triglavians.
you fly
Saber it
recons,
up.
they're gonna
Yep.
still need recons.
You got
like
the
webs
permaband
and
skin for
shit.
your saber now. Throw that on there.
Yeah,
Get in
I
the
mean,
saber,
I
get
can
out
fly
there and fucking
recons
rep.
too. I think I'll just fly dictors because they're cheap, they're expendable, and as long as you just bubble what you're told to bubble, it doesn't really matter if you die because a lot of times they're just expendable ships anyway. So I'll probably just have to
pro
fly
tip.
sabers until I get the skills.
Pro
Either that
tip
or
for the saber.
skill inject, but I'm not buying injectors because I have enough skill points. I'm not going to buy injectors for 50,000 skill points at $1 billion a pop. It's not worth it.
So, something I learned flying sabers is don't bubble the things you're not supposed to bubble, because they will shoot you.
It's easy.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
Whoa. Never
I,
heard of
accident-
that.
I accidentally bubbled a T3 cruiser fleet that was blue, and then I got shot off the field. It was embarrassing. It was sad. It was a sad day. Wibla was nice though, and he let me file for SRP. So good to go.
Yeah. I know they belong on alts, but if my main can't fly the doctrine ship of the fleet, I'm gonna have to take a dictor. Like it's like I can come in a dictor, or I can not go in the fleet. What do you want? So it'll have to be, and I don't want to fly Scout Scepter. Like fuck that. I can do something else. But I don't know. It won't be that long. I bet I can get all this stuff trained up in a month. But yeah, so that's the new ships. I like the cruiser, the hack. Some people are more prone to frigates or just I don't know. Like cruisers are like my favorite. Like battleships I like, but no one ever flies them really that often. So cruisers are like my go-to thing that I like to fly.
Yep, hacks. Hacks were always me. I
Yeah,
love
hacks are awesome, and I was really sad that they made those changes to medium beam lasers, and Zealots still didn't make a comeback. That made me cry a
Nope.
little bit.
Make Zealots great again.
I
If
was
ever run for
hoping. I was like, I
CS10.
don't know if it's enough that people start flying Zealots again, and they sure didn't. So, damn it.
No,
I
I
still
think
fly
this
Zealots all
one,
day.
the Ikatursa has the base damage without spool up as higher than a Zealot. Before you get any of the multipliers for time for cycling, it does more damage than a Zealot.
Damn. And then it scales up. So what
You're
is
not really
the,
holding the zealot grab.
what So, was it? They scale up to 150% damage at max, right? With the disintegrators. Does anyone
I don't know. Yes.
No.
Yes. People are
Someone
nodding
in chat
yes.
will tell
Yes.
us.
I
250%.
250.
250.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, so this is 5
And
zealots
this thing
worth
gets
of
100.
damage.
If you have level 5 heavy assault cruisers, that goes up. The spooling goes 100% bonus to that.
Great.
That's bullshit. That's what a bullshit ship. Why does this even exist?
I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I mean
Well,
it's
it's
gonna be
probably
awesome.
gonna be
but...
a bitch to manufacture.
Yeah. Well, there. So we should probably get to the manufacturer on the next part. So they're adding manufacturing to these. They're adding 2 new skills. I have to scroll and find them, but one of them's like some quantum Triglavian quantum something skill, and then the other one is, so one of them's I think for invention, and one of them is for production of the ships, and you'll need those to build these, to invent and build them. A Wildstar, thanks for the 11 months, man. And then they're also adding I think they said they're adding new shit. What do you call the things that you use for invention?
Data cores.
Data core, yeah. So they're adding some data cores for them, and then they're also adding new mutaplasmids for a few things as well.
Yeah, some from previous events are now going to be regularly available since this event's happening. Trying to remember exactly. I think it was an armor repper mutaplasmid that was for like a special event not too long ago, and that's now going to be regularly available.
Yeah, they're releasing. What was it? The damage control and then a lot of rep ones. I thought.
Yeah.
I want to say some had been out, but not all of them. Am I mistaken?
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that?
There were a few of them that were only released for one of the events with the release of the Triglavian
Oh, okay.
whole thing. And now they're making them regular releases because now the Tech 2 ships are going to be introduced.
Yeah, okay, so here it is. Triglavian encryption methods, and then Triglavian quantum engineering. And that's for the invention. I'm assuming they're relatives, so the Triglavian encryption methods is for invention, and quantum engineering is for the manufacturing of Tech 2 Triglavian ships. And yeah, so it was the damage control and the assault damage control. They were adding 3 different types of mutaplasms for each of those, and then a bunch of the ancillary armor and ancillary shield reppers. They're adding. There was one type of mutaplasmid that they were adding for those. Which one was it? Fuck, I'll scroll through here.
The reppers get unstables.
Okay, yeah. So the reppers get yeah, here it is. So they get the unstable. The damage controls and assault damage controls get the decayed, gravid, and unstable added for those. Yeah, so that's pretty much the new ship stuff. And there was something. Fuck, I wish I could have seen it. I read it somewhere. There was a. I think it's the disintegrators. Or there was some kind of, was it a mutaplasmid thing or something that it required a Tech 2 version of something to use in the recipe.
Are you talking about the science and industry upgrades they did?
I believe so.
No, it's the faction gun. So to build faction Triglavian guns,
Yeah,
Tech
that's what it
2
was.
one.
Yeah, you have to use a Tech 2 instead of the Tech 1. So they swapped that up. That's what I was thinking of.
The faction ones used to drop as modules, and now they don't anymore, and I have to build them.
Yeah, and they just changed the production rate for one of the blueprints from 1,000 to 5,000 units. Luckily, it's only for...
No, go on.
Yeah, luckily it's only for like a Tech 1, so there's gonna be a lot of Tech 1 plasma charges, I guess, for the exotic disruptors. Disintegrators.
They changed a lot of the T2 ones to have to do something. So like the Zarmazad is now being made from the Rodiva or something along those lines. So the whole industry thing, like there's a bunch of stuff that's coming out that people don't have. So folks are like, hey, I want to be the first to fly this ship. It's gonna take a lot of money and a lot of time, unless like you're just filthy rich and want to do it or really well prepared.
Yeah, the big alliances will of course have theirs out within the first month. But, the individual industry guy grinding with a couple of characters, it's going to take you a while.
Well, that's the cool thing about these ships is that they don't make great. They don't make great fleet doctrines.
Do you got a bunch of Terminators outside your house or something?
That would be my dog. So because of the damage ramp up, they don't make great fleet ships. They're cool and small. Really, they're cool in small gang. They're cool in wormholes, but they don't really work on a 250-person fleet.
The great thing is I get to see all the different dog emotes in Twitch.
Wow, wow.
She's all letting us know about like some of the cool stuff's gonna be going down with fleets, and everybody's like, "Yo, dog."
Yeah,
Hey,
no, I
dog.
didn't. No, the yeah. So there's only a couple other like big thing. Well, yeah. So there's two big things left with this patch. War decks. Let's do the war deck thing. We've kind of already covered the war deck in the past, but just a brief re-summary is they're adding the headquarters unit or is that what it's called? The stronghold headquarters.
The War Deck HQ or whatever.
Yeah, the HQ. Yeah. So if you're going to be an aggressor in a war deck as of Tuesday, you will have to have a structure in HiSec, and you will have, and that was the one thing I saw that I was like, oh, I thought it was just a structure anywhere. No, it has to be a HiSec structure that you own, some kind of citadel, and you can assign that as your HQ. And basically, if the defender or if that HQ structure gets destroyed, then it automatically starts the 24-hour cooldown of the war, and then after that it's over, and you cannot war deck that defender again for 2 weeks.
Well, one small adjustment to what you said, Drayden. It's not citadels; it's any upwell structure. So if you got a moon miner, you can make that your headquarters as well.
Well okay.
So
well,
it says all upwell
right.
structures.
Well, yeah. Okay. When I
You
say
said citadels, that's
yeah,
why
I just call them all
mistaken.
citadels. Like I even call like the yeah. So
yeah,
yes.
I just didn't want anybody in chat to get this confused.
Yeah.
They,
So
Drayden's
okay.
dumb. He thought it was citadel.
No, Satoyo's to me that's a citadel, even though it's technically not. Yeah, so any upwell structure, you can set it as your HQ. But this I wonder about this because there's a lot of war deck groups that war deck a lot of the nullsec block groups. Now that there is a way to forcibly end that war deck and end it for a decent amount of time, and you can actually cause damage to that group. So these HiSec groups that war deck goons or war deck, PL or NC or any of these other groups, do you think, I mean, obviously we're engaged in a bunch of wars and stuff, so we're probably too busy to deal with that bullshit, but in off times, do you think you're going to have these groups be like, oh, this group just war decked in HiSec? We can easily take a fleet in there and destroy their citadel or their upwell structure, house. We can destroy their upwell structure in time and then get rid of the war deck forcibly. Is that going to happen?
I don't think so.
No?
I think they already have systems in place to avoid war decks, so why would they fuck around and play with the war deck
They
system?
do, but if they got nothing else to do,
Anyways.
it's like, fuck, hey,
Well, I
we
mean,
got a
if
fleet,
they
let's
got
go
nothing
kill
else
this
to
thing.
do, then
And-
I guess that, yeah, they would do whatever the fuck they want.
Because, I mean, a
but-
lot of times in downtime, the FCs just come up with whatever reason they can to take a fleet out. And if an FC's like, we're going to go... Now, I know there's a lot of nullsec people that are like, I can't go into HiSec because I have -10, stuff like that. But I bet if they're like, hey, we're going to go take a fleet and we're going to go kill this, this Fortizar in HiSec and we're going to get rid of the war deck.
I don't think they care enough about HiSec war decks to put the effort in.
Yeah, because that's a lot of time to take down, especially like a Fortizar. It's
Fortizar's
it's a lot of
not that
time.
hard to
If they're
take.
just looking for something to do quick,
It's
they go
not
on
like it's going to be
raiding
defended
parties.
because a lot of these HiSec groups that do the war decking, it's not like they got a ton of dudes. They
it's
they
got a
war
couple
deck
alts.
because they want to gank people coming through HiSec. They don't war deck because they actually think they can fight the group they're war decking.
No, yeah, they can't.
So if the group
market
that gets,
unbox,
that's what I'm
that's
saying.
it.
If the group that gets war decked wants to take the Citadel, it'd be a piece of cake. Like it would not be a challenge to take it down, even if it was a Fortizar.
It's not a challenge like fight wise, but it's a challenge organizational wise.
Yeah, because it's a lot
To
of
get the
time.
fleets together to go out there and do it. Right.
I mean, how
like
long
you
does
said,
the war
with the
last?
guys
Is it
who
really? You
can't-
send a ping out, you
can't
get a
go to
fleet, and you go
HiSec.
hit it. Like it doesn't take that much.
See,
The organization's
you
already
think that.
there.
You think that, but how many fleets have you taken out?
I don't take fleets out because I don't want that
Right.
responsibility.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've been part of many sieges. It's not.
But
that
I've been
simple.
on lots of structure shoots, and especially lately,
So
and it's not that
let's-
hard to get people to go on a fleet to go shoot
right.
something.
So, first of all, come on this fleet. Let's go on a structure shoot. No, thank you.
well, you don't tell them it's a structure shoot until you get there.
Right. The flip side is go on
then
this
we
fleet.
leave.
It's a structure shoot. You don't get enough dudes, but you go anyways. You'll lose a bunch of stuff
Well, if you
because
don't
they
get
show
enough
up
dudes,
to
you
the
don't
fight.
go.
And
That's the smart
well,
thing.
right, but so then why bother in the first place?
I was just wondering, like, because
No,
it would
yeah.
be something to do, and I think in the larger groups, you'd be
But
surprised
it's
how
too
many
much
people would
of
be
a
willing to go
something
do
to
it.
do, Drayden. That's the issue. Like, there's a lot more things down the scale that an FC would assemble a fleet to go do that could be done in a night.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
How long
I
does
don't
a war
think an
last?
LSEC group would do it. I don't think a wormhole group would do
A
it.
week.
How long does it take to kill a structure in high sec?
A week.
A week.
Yeah, exactly. Way too much time.
Wait, the war only lasts a week. You can't just prolong it past that.
You can,
can.
but
If you pay for it, it's
Still
it's 100
$100
million a week cost,
Right.
right? They that's the other thing with this is they're making it a flat 100 million ISK per week cost, which is peanuts. So, but that's what I'm saying. A lot of the high sec groups they do war decks and they'll just like perma war deck someone. The war deck will last for like months before it's taken down.
Right. But like I said, all the big groups have systems to get around it. They have
they do.
outside alts to do all their hauling and stuff. There's no reason for anyone in an LSEC group to be hauling their own shit to JITA and then hauling stuff back out to LSEC. So there's no point in engaging these guys in what they want to do anyways, right? There's no point in giving them the content.
I'm sure there'll be a SIG in Goons that does it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it'll happen, I bet. But all right. So what was some of the other things with there was a bunch of like technical stuff, kind of like if you start a war deck, you can't join any alliances during that time unless that alliance is an aggressor or defender as well. I think in the war deck there was a bunch. See, I don't do any of the war decks, so I don't know what a lot of the new stuff is compared to the old stuff. But
Okay, corporations cannot join another alliance until the war ends or their ally contract finishes.
Right. So
So if they're on the defending side, they can't just ditch until the war's. They can't ditch until the war's over or their contract with that alliance is, done.
and I think the point with that was to, I guess there was some like metagaming in the war deck system where groups were swapping alliances to like fuck people over with war decks in some way. But so a lot of those changes were to combat that. But the main overall changes is the HQ assignment and the cost reduction. There's a bunch of UI stuff that so like a lot of stuff in like your corp tab now your UI wars will have a section in your corporation tab. I believe it's on the home tab. It'll have like its own war history tab and stuff like that. So metagaming and wording mechanics. Yeah, it happens. Yeah, so like
Rare, almost never happens, but it
Yeah.
happens.
but yeah, so that's mainly the war deck. There's a lot more with that. People that are very into the war deck thing will, I'm sure, have a lot more interest in the minutia of that. But yeah, so there was the last big thing. Really quick before we get into the actual invasions, which is the whole focus of this this new patch, this new expansion. Real quick, we were talking about the anomaly visibility through the agency. One quick thing I saw, it was like just a little minor tidbit that actually is pretty useful. I don't do PI, but if you do PI, in the agency window or in the UI thing, you are now going to be able to look at planets. You can do a filtered search for types of planets in your range of whatever your remote sensing skill is. So you can basically be like, oh, okay, well, I want to build this in PI, so I need a plasma planet. You can look for, because if you want to have like a central home system and you're like, I want stuff to be within a certain range of that, you can look like, okay, within this range, find all the plasma planets. And it'll show you all the plasma planets. And then you can look at the actual, without right clicking and go into planetary view mode, you can actually, it will show you the resources of that planet, the resource distribution. Or you don't get the planet map, but I think it'll just show you like the levels. So that's really fucking useful, actually. Because I remember, like, they revamped the whole PI user interface, like, building the colony stuff on the planet itself. They made it a lot simpler, a lot less of a headache.
Clickfest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
it was a clickfest.
They totally made it really simplified. But finding the planets, finding the right planets that you actually wanted to build on was still a pain in the ass. And this is going to massively make that better. So if you're a big PI guy, this is excellent.
Yeah, I had many PI alts, so I don't play, so I don't care. But anyway, I think that's a good change. I would
Yeah, I like
enjoy
that.
at least
That-
having
like,
the
that-
ability.
that's
Because
got
what
the-
I did is I used Dotland to figure out what planets were around me and used an outside resource. If that's now in the game, okay, so they're centralizing stuff that should have been in the game a long time ago. So that's a good change.
What is he?
Yep.
Do these changes show me on the map where the BBEG is? What is that? Baba Yaga?
What?
Huh? BBEG. Big. Oh, no, not going there.
Big booty.
But Drayden will.
Yeah, I don't know. Someone's dying.
Dude,
Well,
that was
Jillian,
so
because I like to say I'm still part of the game. I'm always part of this game. I played this game for 12 years. That's why I'm still on stream, because I still kind of care about the game. I volunteer my time at Eve Vegas. I volunteer my time for CCP, so I'm still involved in this game. So
Yeah.
I'm still a moderator for this channel. I do a lot outside the game. I just don't play the game. I don't log in. I don't have accounts anymore, but I love this game for what it did to me in my lifetime. So that's
Well,
why
it
I still
hasn't
play
been
this
that
game.
long since you played, also.
Right, exactly. So Donomark,
It's
thank
not
you.
like you haven't
16
played
months.
in years. It's been months.
Right.
A few
Yeah,
of them.
just-
So
Exactly.
Speaking of Dom, I actually saw him again last weekend. We did a little Eve meetup on Saturday in Ames, Iowa. So that was a shit ton of fun. Had a blast.
yeah.
All right, well-
thanks for the 16.
So we'll jump into that. I mean, I'll just
All right,
jump
so-
off that. If you guys Eve meets, I can talk about Eve meets real quick because that's something dear to my
Sure,
heart.
yeah,
So just do Eve meets, evemeet.net, and it's like Dirk likes to says evemeet.net. Anyway,
That's the dating
um,
site.
that's the dating site. No, go find a local meetup for everybody. If there's not one in your area, start one. Because you never know. It's evemeet.net, not .com, Drayden. You fail again.
Fuck.
Anyway,
All right.
anyway.
Can I delete my own
um,
post?
Nope.
So you
Uh,
can't
Time
anyway.
myself out? Is
It's
that
like Twitter.
Yeah.
No, just find one. There's always an Eve meetup once a month. I know San Diego has one once a month.
Pittsburgh.
Vegas, we used to have one. Houston has one. Pittsburgh has one. Go find a close area meetup. Meet players. It doesn't matter who you fly with, who you play with. You just talk game. This is what we do on Open Comms. You do that when you have a local meetup. Just go and find one or make one. Just do it.
Ottawa has a monthly meetup. Apparently, the Buffalo Chicken Wrap at the Ottawa meetup it'll change your life. Toronto
If you-
has one.
Hey,
Everybody
if you
has
live
one.
in New,
Yeah.
if you live in New
Madison
England,
has a
check
monthly.
Eve Meet. There's meetups all over.
Yeah, the Midwest has
Okay.
a bunch. I know Madison has
That's
one.
my meetup rant. My
Yeah.
meetup.
Oh, and,
Minnesota, Iowa.
Right before the cruise at the end of June, I think it's June 29th. I believe it's a Saturday in Seattle. Right before we leave on the cruise, we're having a Eve dinner thing at the what was it, the Crab
Yep.
Pot? Yeah, the
Yep,
Crab
the
Pot.
Crab Pot.
It's a restaurant there.
I kind of hope you get keyholed, Drayden. I won't lie.
Keyhold. I don't even know what that means, and I'm afraid to ask.
Keyhold.
Oh, keyhold. I think it's keyhold. Yeah.
I don't know what you're into, so.
No. That's what I was asking. I was like,
And there's
that's-
nothing wrong with that.
That sounds
It's
that sounds
2019.
like an
What's wrong?
upgrade from like ass eating or something. I don't know.
Excuse me, ass eating is the highest you can go. Thanks.
Yeah, but keyholing. But anyway, yeah. So it's a fuck. I probably should have got the link for this. Grey Gal has a thing.
You
Yeah,
go get it. I can talk about it. So
Okay.
there's the cruise happening June 30th through July 7th. So we're leaving out of the port of Seattle. So Grey Gal is actually organizing a meetup, like a dinner/bar thing at the Crab Pot, which is actually located in Seattle. So Dran's gonna post the link. But we have a group going. So if you want to join, like if you're in Seattle, you're not going on the cruise, or you're nearby Seattle, and you just want to come and hang out with Eve Nerds. I know there's some CCP devs that are gonna be there for sure. And then I know I'm meeting some friends. There's a couple people from my alliance going. Drayden's going. We're gonna have Greg out there, and a couple other of sort of like more well-known folks from the Eve community going to be there. So definitely check it out. Stop by. You can have a couple drinks. You can have dinner with us. I have tried to convince everyone, and I'm pretty sure my corp mate November is actually gonna take us karaokeing. So we are definitely gonna try that out. So
Did-
come
Ray
by,
can
hang out,
never
have
do
fun.
an Eve meet
Wait,
without
karaoke Saturday?
I've
Very
noticed
true.
that.
I'll make my own karaoke if I
The
need to,
karaoke
okay?
thing on Saturday night that night.
Yeah, November said he's gonna
Shit.
take us to karaoke, so you can definitely join us.
No karaoke,
Nice.
no rain.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, if you live in Seattle, because now that link I put there, that is for if you want to go to that dinner, but you're not going on the cruise. So like the dinner is a thing for all the cruise members because part of our cost that we paid for the cruise includes that dinner. But if you want to go to the dinner and you're not part of the cruise, you can sign up for it there. You'll have to pay for your own meal, pay for your own drinks and all that stuff, but you can come down and get some food and hang out with us. Yeah, so
Alright.
the last thing on the expansion is actually the main focus of the expansion. The Triglavian invasions. Basically, Triglavian incursions. I don't think a whole lot has been released on these, but it's basically going, I think... Now, is it going to be like the actual incursion model, or is it going to be something slightly different?
We don't know.
We don't know yet.
I was just asking that in case, because I haven't seen a lot of the Eve Down Under stuff, so I wasn't sure if they like leaked something out there that's not on the actual patch notes, but I'm assuming it's gonna be similar to Invasions. Maybe not quite the same thing. I'd hope not the exact same thing, just with different ships, but
So is there a date on when these Triglavian invasions
this
are going to happen?
Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, the patch comes out, and what they did say is that it's going to be in high sec only. So these are only going to be in high sec, but they said that they're going to ramp up over the next couple weeks, and I don't know if that means spread out to low sec and null sec, or if they're just going to become, they're going to have different versions, maybe more difficult with better loot. Who knows? So there's.
Let's do a shot for Trig incursions in Jita.
Yeah, basically, it's all up to speculation at this point. But yeah, shots.
Shots.
But yeah, so that's the patch. That took most of the show. I thought it would, and we started with it, which is nice.
I am optimistically. No, I am cautiously. I'm not even optimistic about the new Triglavian incursions because, like, everything I've heard is that they're just an old reskin of the old incursions, and I'm really hoping that it's not. But I'll wait to see if I'm proven
Well, I
wrong.
mean, I feel
Yeah,
like
I'm
that.
hoping they change it up too, because if they just re-skin incursions, I'm going to be quite disappointed.
Yeah,
They have
a lot of
opportunity to
people
do
are.
some really fun stuff with this.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that's what it's going to be, and it's like, well, I mean, no one knows, but it
They
seems,
did a lot of
it seems like it.
They did a lot of experiments with that Drifter faction, and I just hope they apply some of that to this Triglavian stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't really do much PvE at all, so for me, like the new ships coming out is like the main bread and butter of the patch, as far as I'm concerned. But Eve Down Under. One thing I was going to go into now. This can kind of lead into, I mean, a lot of talk about it. Obviously, the Imperium deployed up north to war against NCPL.
Want to do CSM first before we start spurging on the war?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do some CSM stuff.
44 candidates confirmed for CSM.
Manic's in
44.
there.
Yep. Manic, Matterall,
So
Dunkdinkle,
Trolls.
Mike Azariza.
Trolls-
Yeah,
I
we
thought
were-
Trolls-
Lizard breath. Like,
thought
you
Trolls
guys
was
give
coming.
us-
Lilo.
There's some notable names that are not on the list that said they were running,
Big
which is
Choles.
strange.
Yeah, Chol said he
Big
was
Charles,
running.
Elo.
Andre, there's another guy. There's another wormhole guy I know that said he was running, and he's not on there. It makes me think that either they all somehow simultaneously fucked up their application, or CCP is getting really critical on who they let in the CSM. It's like
As
even to
they
run.
should be.
Yeah, I mean, you don't
Well,
want
Mecha
people on
Gold
there.
is running
Yeah.
for CSM.
And Noisy. Noisy points out Gobbins and Killa B are running. So
Well, we knew Killa
Yeah.
B was rerunning.
right.
Yeah, and the
Blazing-
judges, of course, up there again.
Yeah, we have a lot of those folks who said they were rerunning are actually rerunning. I think all of them are. So I think it's all of them except Sutoni and Jintan.
Yeah, no Dirk.
And Brisk.
There's no Dirk on the
Brisk
list.
is not running again,
Well, yeah, Brisk resigned, obviously. So.
obviously.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Dirk next year. Dirk is running for next
Oh
year.
yeah, Zenaria's
Well,
running.
Dirk-
Dirk,
of these-
Dirk is a more powerful voice on open comms than he would be on CSM.
Right, and
CSM
Dirk's-
would rein him
yeah.
in too much. Put too many
no,
restrictions
yeah,
on
no,
the Dirk.
we've
You
already
can't-
like we've
They
already
were
Let
talked.
the
used to
Dirk
Dirk.
flow free.
Dirk has already mentioned why he won't do CSM, and it's totally makes sense, is because he likes doing the show, he likes doing the media stuff, and because he can freely speculate, freely speak his mind, but the second he gets on the CSM, he can no longer speculate. Well, he can speculate on some things, but the thing is, like, a lot of the stuff he'll actually just know, but he won't be able to talk about it, and so you won't get any of the speculation and in-depth discussions and debates because he'll be curtailed on what he can say, and he'll be basically muzzled for half of it, and it will cause a deterioration of like the content that he can bring. So he's like,
Dirk would be muzzled until the first shot of Tito's.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing. Like,
Oh no!
you wouldn't want
Oh,
him
no,
to.
Rain.
Oh, Rain, what happened?
So I grabbed my cable to charge my phone because my mother texted me and she says,
Unplugged your monitor?
"How long?" She says, "How long do you have to be Omega to vote for CSM?" So they are announcing CSM at Eve North, which is in Toronto. So that's third week in June. So you have to be able to be Omega at least, I would say, until then, if not like earlier, just so you're able to vote because only Omegas can vote.
Yeah, have your Omega ID front and ready.
Yeah.
No, Nanak, I will not ever run, and it's probably for the best. I'll just say that. I could barely push the buttons on this show. You think I can actually represent a player base?
How many wormhole guys are running?
Azuki is, I know the name I recognize, but I'm not too familiar with wormhole candidates.
There's a few of them. There's at least 6.
You're a wormholer. Who are they?
I don't know, but I'll tell you that. It's, as soon as there's more than one, we're not getting any.
Oh, you
Well,
lied.
why don't
But
all the
Noisy?
wormholers vote the same?
Yeah.
No, we
voting
don't.
is
No, they
June
don't.
10th through the 17th. Thank you, Noisy. So
So
that's
you have
voting
to
for
have-
your CSM.
Oh.
So that's
You
when
have
it
to have
is.
Omega at some point in that time frame.
Yeah, the thing.
And then vote
yeah,
while you are Omega.
I'm glad they don't let the alphas vote, and this is not a slam on legitimate
That's racist.
with legitimate alpha pilots that are
Damn
playing the
dirty
game
alphas.
as an alpha. There's nothing wrong with
Build
that.
a
The thing is,
wall.
if you allow alphas to vote, you would have this massive just blasting of new accounts being made simply for votes, and a lot of the smaller guys and like general players would be like, I don't got time to do that shit. But the big groups, they would. I guarantee you, there's people in the big groups that would totally do that, and it would be even more like the big block groups dominate the voting. They would dominate it even more, and so much so that you would probably never have a null set candidate on the CSM ever again. So it's probably a better thing that the alphas are not allowed to vote for that reason.
And let's be honest, those of us who use Plex or actually use real money to pay for this game, we are essentially paying taxes, so we do get the vote.
I mean, can alphas use skill injectors?
You can use those little alpha ones, can't they?
Yeah, that's money. That's money in the bank.
Not
Anyways,
the same.
the wormhole candidates. Because there's more than one, and because wormholes are not unified, wormholers are not going to get a wormholer candidate on the CSM. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I mean it's probably the same. I mean, like you look at HiSec, it's like it takes
Well, it's the same for HiSec.
entirety of HiSec
There's different
to get
reasons
Steve
for HiSec
Vernuken.
versus wormholers.
Yeah, it's
But
HiSec is just it's not that they're at ends with each
Well,
other.
HiSec has like 5 different players. There's the griefers, right? The guys like Code, the guys who do war decks and stuff like that. There's those guys. There's mission runners,
Yep.
and guys who play by themselves, the solo guys.
They don't have
There's-
any
Woo-woo!
attention
Right.
or interest in
They don't
CSM
have any
whatsoever.
interest in
So they
CSM.
don't
They
even
don't give a
vote.
fuck.
I mean,
right?
not
They
saying
don't
none of
even
them
read
vote,
patch
but
notes.
most of them.
They'll
probably.
log in one day and wonder why their rattlesnake doesn't work because it's been changed, and they won't even realize what's happened.
Hey,
Then
some
the-
of
the
us
next
pay
player
attention,
is-
LB. Some of
The
us
next
do.
players, well, okay, some of you do, but you're the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
There's players, there's HiSec industry guys and HiSec market PvP guys, right? Those guys are all nullsec alts, so they just vote the way they're supposed to vote. And then there's the guys who are playing the meta, but they're playing it all fucking wrong. The crazy fucking tinfoil guys who think like, if I vote the way the Dagoons vote, I'll get in with the Imperium and I'll be able to get in a nullsec and get my own constant. Those crazy fucking dudes, those guys are all in HiSec
That's
as well.
that's a group that exists.
Oh, dude,
They're irritating
you don't
as hell.
even know. There are so many corp CEOs that are like, if I just build this T2 ship and sell it on the fucking market, and Aerith sees the price, he's gonna fucking give us a vouch and we'll be
Oh
in.
no.
There's those fucking guys.
That's
I guarantee.
embarrassing. That's
'Cause
so
I've played
embarrassing.
with
No,
them.
please.
I've played for
There's
them.
no one like that.
There is. You don't even know.
I'm
You
gonna
don't
take-
even know.
I'm
There's
taking a
tinfoil
shot.
motherfuckers
I'm-
out there that are crazy like that.
Shots.
And
fired.
that's
I'm
high
taking
sec.
a
You
shot
can
for those
never,
guys.
ever unify those guys in high sec to get a standard vote for a high sec rep. You'll never ever get it.
Hell, you can
Wormholers,
meet some of those guys at Eve meets that goons are at.
yeah, wormholers are different because all the wormholers think that they're the smartest guys in wormholes.
Trust
right,
me,
so-
I know. I've talked to some of them.
Hey, I'm right here. Stop.
No, you at least are humble, Hilby.
I'm the worst wormholer ever. But there's guys, all the wormhole groups that put a candidate forward, they all think that their candidate is the guy to go for. So they won't put any other candidate from wormholes on their ballot, and you're not gonna get a wormhole candidate on. That's just the way it's gonna be.
LB, you lied. You said that Canada can only have one candidate.
It's true.
And
Mike
that was Mike.
Azariah is it?
No, Jurius Doctor, country, Canada.
Well, fuck. They obviously didn't check his passport close enough. Because
Well, maybe he's French Canadian.
that's right. Those aren't real Canadians, anyways. So.
And people say Americans and Canadians can't agree on
There's a
much.
third Canadian, Campaign. I'm not.
That guy's definitely French.
What?
Canadian.
What?
It's spelled with a Y, so
Also, French Canadian, also known as True Galente.
he's a wormhole guy.
Wow.
Whoa! Don't insult
Hey,
Galente like that.
easy.
How dare you? Sir?
But yeah, see, a lot of these names I don't know though, so I'm gonna have to do some. I got time before voting season. I have to do some research because I mean, there's a handful that I know Mike, I know, a lot of the incumbents and stuff, and there's a few other names that I recognize, but there's a lot of
Matterall.
these. Well, yeah, like Matterall. There's a lot of people on here that it's like never heard of them, don't know what they're about, so I'm gonna have to read up on what they are about. So.
I'm just gonna ask throw out in chat because I know Noisy's out in chat. When will you have your kind of like symposium or list for CSMs done? So I'll throw that for the chat question for Noisy. Because I know he's always working. It's his bread and butter. So if you don't follow Noisy, just give him a shout and follow what he does for the CSM candidates.
And
when
if
you have
ever
your-
get a
like, your
chance at
lists.
Eve meet, sit down and chat with them. You'll have great conversations.
Oh, that was okay. That was something I was gonna bring up. Shit, I have to find it. Noisy. I think it was in a tweet, maybe. Hold on, Noisy. Don't post it yet, Noisy, but because I gotta give you permissions. But I'm just giving you a heads up. Get ready to post because on your site you were saying that you were gonna be making a list of all the various candidates and their platforms and all that stuff, and you were gonna have it on your website. Get ready to post that link and let me know when you're ready, and then I'll give you permissions to post, and then you can post it because that might be something you want to bookmark for people that are looking into, like myself. I'll probably read it as well, and to research the all the candidates and stuff, especially if you don't know about them, if you want to learn more. All right, there you go. Go ahead, Noisy, post it.
So yeah, there you go. That's what I was kind of referring to, Noisy. So yeah, that list.
CSM Wire. Yeah. That's the
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
King Aries is saying there are people on the list that have already publicly dropped out of the CSM race.
What?
So why are they
Like,
being published
within the last
on
day,
the,
then?
on the official list? Yeah.
Why? Why would... Were they the trolls that were like, "Oh shit, I got in"? Fuck.
yeah, I wasn't serious.
No.
Stop. Whoa, take my name off.
And then you got people that were trying to get in, like Elo. Rain.
Wow.
Segway. Like Elo.
Get him, Rain. Get him.
Say good or what? It was clearly trolling, so.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna go into the whole Elo thing tonight.
No.
Oh, never mind then.
I mean, I think he was trolling. I don't know what more there's said.
Oh. I thought in Discord you were saying like, oh, you can do the whole Elo thing. I was like, okay, but anyway.
I don't care to talk about retards, so.
Okay.
Ooh.
Damn.
I like it. I just gotta say, I
Shots
love when
fired.
Ryan gets low key feisty, like completely calm and just like fuck that guy.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, so I mean, there were some troll. Like, there was that Code guy that was trying to get on, or was he Code? I think he was Code, and it was there were a few like pre like official candidate list release people that posted on the forum that they were going to start running and apply, and you would read some of their stuff, and it was just it was obviously a joke or ridiculous, whichever one. But
Were there some CSM guys who were saying they were going to run for CSM, but their whole platform was get rid of the CSM? There were dudes like that.
there was
right?
one, I think there was one.
So obviously that guy didn't get on.
Although that might have been from last. Oh no, that might have been.
No, there was one guy for sure.
Gevlin Goblin ran on that platform, I think, way back in the day. I don't know how long ago that was, but he
No, but
obviously
this guy
was not put
definitely
on.
recent, because he was handing out flyers, or some of his buddies were at E-Vegas this past October about getting rid of the CSM.
Zanus DF or DSF. There's nothing wrong with Code running. It was the content of his post of why he was running that was. It's like you'll never. I was like, it's either a troll or just ridiculous. I think he might have just been RPing into the whole like James 315 like Code lifestyle, which is fine. It was funny, but it was basically his platform was to eliminate high sec and force everyone in high sec to leave their like degraded lives of what do you call it? Gluttony and all. It was just like it was a
Stop
very
being Care Bears. And
it was a very preachy, it was like, okay, it was kind of funny to read, but it's like it can't be a serious premise for an actual platform. So
I'd vote for that.
just start drafting people off high sec. Be like, no more Care Bearing for you. You go fight in a wormhole right now.
Yeah, fit this probe scanner. Get in this wormhole. Let's go.
No more local. You won't know who the hell's here. You just fight.
Can you cloak?
I'm
Doesn't matter. Get in
scared.
there.
Oh, behold me, I'm scared.
Don't worry. It's all right. You don't even play anymore.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I remember. Who was it? Brisk put his like prediction already. He's like, these are the guys that are gonna win. He put 10 names down. He's like, this is your CSM 14 right here, and he was really confident about it.
Well, he knows stuff. About
And the
them.
funny thing is, like, it was like there's
seven or
7
eight of them
incumbents
are
running.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, there was 7 incumbents running, and I think he had 6 of those on there, which you know what, might not be wrong. But I have a
Well,
feeling
apparently,
Mike
Chris needs
might
to bring
make
that
it.
list to Noisy, and they need to collaborate.
I mean, I have a feeling Mike might make it. Like, Mike's been there before. He's a high set guy. Steve Vernuken is like the high set guy that's been there for a long time, but he's been there so long, and I feel like this is me speculating. This is not me like any kind of educated position, but like I think a lot of the high sec votes go to Steve because they're like, there might be other high-sec candidates, but they're probably not going to get anywhere. So if we want someone to represent us, we have to vote for Steve because he's the only one that has a shot at making it that will, be there for the high-sec people. But now Mike's back. Mike's back in the running. And so maybe they're like, oh, we have a choice now, Steve or Mike. And I think maybe other people might go in Mike's direction.
Look, all I know is Mannix probably going to be on the CSM at the end of all this.
I like Mike. I think Mike
Yeah,
does a
Mannix.
hell of a job. So I mean, he's gonna be on my ballot. I'm not gonna say I don't even know what position, but I'm pretty sure I'm voting for Mike in there somewhere.
I'm probably going to have to vote for my girl Liz in chat since she wanted to throw herself out there.
Yeah, we got Liz. I mean, Mannix gonna be. I mean, I gotta put Mannix on my ballot. I don't know if it's gonna be number 1 or not, but I do gotta put Mannix on there. Have to.
I would say chat right now is kind of split between Team Mike and Team Steve. I'm going Team Mike, by the way.
Well, Jasper
Well, it's the
said
same
go
guy.
Steve
so
and
it's
One
Mike.
Mike and Mike.
100%.
You can't vote twice.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm going Team Liz because I disagree with her on almost
we
everything
could do
else
like
politically.
we could do like a chat poll. I don't know how to do a poll, but we could just, hey, Team Mike or Team Steve. If you had to pick one, Mike or Steve, Team Rain.
Team Rain.
I mean,
Team Rain. There we go.
If Rain ran,
I'm not.
The write-in vote.
If Rain ran, I'd vote for her.
No, like so the thing is with CSM you have to be
No.
able to like
No.
not only like manage personalities and like manage people, which is fine. Like anyone can really do that without game knowledge, but then you also have to be able to speak independently in a room full of your other CSM and CCP by yourself about game knowledge. And anyone and their mom can be like, "Oh, I'm going to take ideas from, the community to the CSM and to the summits and talk to CCP," which is great, but unless you know like some backstory and are able to willing to learn all of that, it's not gonna really fucking matter. Like I can be like, hey, XYZ community folks care about, ABC issue. But like if people are like, well, what about, this solution? And I can't speak to that, then it doesn't matter. Like then I'm just a fucking path for, a bunch of people complaining to get to CCP and I'm a filter. Which I kinda do that already. Like anyone who any way sort of remotely communicates with CCP or is remotely involved in the community already kind of does that. Like we as Open Comms kind of do that. Like we take community concerns, sort of filter them, bitch about them, and CCP gets to hear about it.
Well, we filter them through beer and Tito's, so that's not really a good.
Yeah,
filter.
pretty much.
True,
Kinda
but at the same
unfiltered.
time, like our
What do you mean
filtering is
unfiltered?
like
This
a
is-
1,000 times better than fucking like, Reddit or people crying on Twitter or, people in general, like on the forums. Like we filter like what we see as
Words
whining
unfiltered.
versus legitimate concerns.
Yeah. What do you mean unfiltered? This is 6 times distilled.
No.
Blast them 6 times.
Our words are unfiltered. Come on now.
How dare you,
Oh
sir?
well, we've got some filter. I mean,
Some.
like a coffee filter, maybe.
It's 22:47. Guess what time it is?
Like hotel room.
We didn't get to the war.
Game of Thrones. Fuck the war.
No.
This is the
There's a
war
war?
of the living. We can do war. We can do war talk after. We can do war talk after All right. Okay. So before we go, spoiler warning. Spoiler warning. Spoiler warning. If you have not
Spoilers.
seen the final episode of Game of Thrones, get out. Get out now. This will be
No.
the
Can I
last
just
thing.
say,
No, I haven't.
Well, hold on.
Stay.
This will be the last thing we
Alright,
talk about
get me
until
done.
the end of the show. So if you tune out, if you haven't seen it, just tune out now. You won't miss anything because when we're done with this talk, we're closing the stream and going to After Dark. So
But
Game of
if you
Thrones
live
time.
in
Let's go.
China, the ending
the
got
Game
banned,
of Thrones
so we're
ending?
sorry.
No. The Game of Thrones ending was the ending everyone wanted season 1. That's what this ending was. Like, I don't
I
care
liked it.
how we got to this ending, but that statement is fact. All the Starks win. All the Starks win. Sansa's Queen of the North. Bran is King of the Six Kingdoms. John's fucking like King
John's
of
a
the fucking
Targaryen.
King of the
Black
Wildlings.
whatever.
John's mom
what are
was
they,
a
Black
Stark,
Cloaks or
but
whatever?
but you in those days you
No,
count.
he's still a Stark. He is still a Stark.
he
He's
was
still
he
Stark.
grew
The
up
thing
with the
is,
Starks, but
this
he's a
ending
Targaryen.
He's
is
half
all
Stark,
the
half
Starks
Targaryen.
winning, and no matter how
Drayden,
much you
there's
want to
an
shit
official
on the
marriage.
writing, that's the ending everyone wanted.
Well, I know.
There's
Everyone
an
wanted the
annulment
Starks
and a
to win.
marriage.
I know,
Still legit.
but basically what I'm saying is like you count people back those days, what house they are part of, as far as their inheritance is the patriarchal line. where Jon's mom was a Stark, but his dad was a Targaryen. Because if you count the matriarchal lines, then all the Stark kids were Tullys, because Catelyn Stark was a Tully before she married Eddard.
In that case, you can also make the argument that while Jon may be a Targaryen by
He
name,
grew up with the Starks.
He was fostered by the Starks.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
I
was going on
like how Euron, I mean not Euron, fucking Theon is kind of both a Stark and a Greyjoy.
Right. Okay, so
fostered by them.
I was going on the technicality of like what house they call you.
Hell, you could call
would be on the patriarchal line, but as far as like realistic, like moral, obviously Jon was a Stark on his morals and his upbringing, because he was raised by Eddard. He was not raised by the Targaryens. And same with Theon, although I mean Theon was taken as a young boy as a hostage when the Greyjoys rebelled. Theon was taken as a hostage under Eddard Stark to basically keep the old man Greyjoy in line. But then he grew up with the Starks, and so yeah, like Theon was fairly Starkish as well, even though he was a Greyjoy, but he was still a Greyjoy. And the only reason they called Jon Snow is because his actual heritage was hidden.
Yeah, super hidden. I will say that.
But yeah, so what I'm saying is, like, if it came to titles, Jon would be given a Targaryen title and not a Stark title.
Yeah, like technically by the rules of the North, they wouldn't recognize him.
Right.
Yeah.
But
and
anyway,
if you went by like the way the books are written, not the show, the way the books are written, yes, the North would have major issues with him being by blood a Targaryen primarily.
Well, right. I was splitting hairs though at that point. I don't know why, but anyway.
Jon can be short for Aegon. I'm sorry, I'm responding to Ares in chat.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he was Aegon, but yeah, he was Jon in secret. Well, Jon publicly, Aegon in secret, but
if you think about it, that could have been like just a nickname, instead of calling him Aegon, I'm just gonna call you Jon. Nobody else is going to know the rest.
Yeah, Jon, like with a G.
Let's see Starbucks spell that one right.
Starbucks.
It's John with a G.
Yeah.
Gone.
We're gonna go do that at Starbucks now.
But okay, so this episode was I don't know, like I actually haven't, like, there's been a lot of hate on Game of Thrones this season. I haven't had as much. Now I will agree that there isn't as much intrigue, and like it doesn't have that same feel of Game of Thrones in the previous seasons, but I'm fine with it. It's okay. It wasn't bad. And this last episode was pretty good. I mean, it wrapped everything up, and it wrapped it up smoother than I thought, because I was like, fuck, like after the Battle of King's Landing, I was like, they're going to go from that and finish it in one episode? I don't care if it's an hour and 20 minutes. How the hell do you do that? And they kind of actually did all right with it. They skipped a bunch of unnecessary stuff and just kind of went straight to the political dealings, I guess, but
they rushed it. They rushed it. That's what they did.
Rushed. I mean, that's a good way to say it, but I think they just couldn't finish it the way George wrote the books. I mean, there was just no way. There was no way they could have had much character development. They lost all character development at the end. You go from the best scene in the final episode was when the dragon was behind Dany when she was walking out of the Red Keep.
Oh,
that
yeah,
was the only good scene. That
was
the best scene.
Beautiful.
That was a great
I'm
scene.
so excited about it.
That was pretty good symbolism.
But every other scene, like from when after Jon killed and the great, Tyrion's, speech of making Bran the king of the Six Realms, Bran the Broken, was that every other scene was like this long dramatic scene of just scenery and music and big fucking deal. That made no sense of all these long drawn out scenes like that. Terrible. They had nothing to write about. They couldn't write about anything, so they made these long dramatic scenes.
And there's two things that I will say with that is, one, you can actually know it's not just this season. Last season, season 7, 2 years ago, was kind of shaky a little bit on some things. And honestly, it's because the first 6 seasons were great. You know why? Because they were adapted from finished books. Well-written books that George R.R. Martin finished, and the books were great. And so they were able to adapt it to a screenplay. And then season 7 and 8 is George R.R. Martin given kind of a brief summary advisory telling of, like, this is kind of how I was going to have it go without any
And then
details.
letting these 2 shitheels from HBO fucking
And
fill in
then
the
they
gaps.
have
Like,
to
let's go.
write. Basically, it's like screenwriters having to come up with a plot that's as solid as like a long, drawn-out book plot.
I know.
Good
I'm
luck with
actually
that.
kind of happy about the way season 7 and 8 turned out because D&D have been getting a lot of praise for Game of Thrones when really they just been taking the best bits from the books and adapting them for live action.
Yeah, and the so there's that, and then the other thing is, last season was 7 episodes. This season was 6 episodes. They were now some of the episodes were longer, but still, if you look at total runtime, 10-hour-long episodes compared to 7-hour and 10-minute episodes and 6-hour and 15-minute episodes, you're still short like 3 episodes worth of time in total runtime of the season. And I saw a thing. I don't think it was doctored or fake, but it was basically HBO. Obviously HBO. I believe it's true because there's no reason for HBO not to say this, because they make so much fucking money on each show. Is they're like, HBO told the producers and the people of Game of Thrones, do you have what you need? Do you do it how it needs to be done? We'll give you all the resources, and basically HBO is like, we'll throw fucking money at you in piles if you need time to finish it, take time. And the producers were like, no, we're gonna shorten this season and that season. We're gonna do it shorter. And HBO's like, you sure you can do longer? We'll give you all the money. You need more money for production? We'll give it to you. And they're like, no, we're good. So the reasons that those seasons were short are not on HBO. It's on the producers, and it's like, why? If you're rushing stuff, why wouldn't you take the money and make more episodes and make it fleshed out better?
I don't think George R.R. Martin is a great storyteller. I think the story's a bit shit.
He's a great writer.
He's a good world builder. He's not a great writer, and he's definitely not a good storyteller.
No, he's a great writer because you're immersed into his world. When you bring somebody into your own world, you're a great writer. I mean,
well, in my opinion, he tries to imitate Frank Herbert too much.
I haven't read all the books. I read the first book and half of the second one, but I thought they were decently well written.
On and on about shit that does not matter.
So did Tolkien, and look at Tolkien. Tolkien's regarded as one of the best fantasy writers.
George R.R. Martin makes Tolkien look like a children's writer. He's on a whole nother level of absurdity.
I know, but what I'm saying is, like, Tolkien is regarded as like the forefather of fantasy writing, and Tolkien will spend half a chapter describing a landscape.
Yes, no, I agree. Tolkien spends too much time explaining things that doesn't matter. George R.R. Martin takes that to a whole new level of ridiculousness.
This is why I prefer Glenn Cook as an author when it comes to my dark fantasy. Read The Black Company, chat. Way better than Game of Thrones.
And
Tolkien is
silence.
a moron right-wing. Hey,
Everybody's
I like Tolkien.
it right now,
Like,
but
I love Lord of the
I'm
Rings
just
stuff.
excited that like the Sword of Shannara has like some TV show called the Shannara Chronicles, and I really want Wheel of Time to have their own TV show. Like, Wheel of Time was like my book series growing up, and they were like really fucking intense books for like a middle school kid like I was. And I'm just like, my dream is just like having like something like a book and a series like that and made into a show or a movie or whatever. And like, you had the Marvel Universe. So I recently saw Endgame, and like the Marvel Universe went from taking nerdy comic book superheroes into making them mainstream to the point where everyone and their mom fucking talks about. Like, it's second top grossing movie
superhero
ever.
movies are like the new fad.
Yeah, and then same with Game of Thrones. Like, fad or not, like quote unquote true fans or not. The fact that like it's more modernized and the fact that, you know, these people who have spent years just like dedicated to this fandom can now actually have something concrete to share with the world is amazing. Like if you like 10 years ago, if you were like, "Oh yeah, this fantasy medieval thing," people would be like, "Oh, you mean Lord of the Rings?" And like that was
Yeah.
it. It was
Right,
like
right.
only Lord of
Well-
the Rings, and even as big as that was, it was still just Lord of the
No,
Rings.
but
There was-
Lord of the Rings caused a big fad as well. It was a lot shorter
Well,
lived.
without Lord of the Rings, there'd be no Game of Thrones. That's
Well-
a given, but still.
That's true, but like I mean, Game of
Maybe.
Thrones now is like everyone's talking about.
I
Game of-
think
like the people at work who are like literally like they don't give a fuck, like love Game of Thrones.
I think Game of Thrones
Yeah.
was a risk in this sense. Not it was done so well that it was obviously not a risk. It was a success. But at the start, before it was pushed, it was a risk. And I'm saying because like the superhero fad, like the Marvel like there's some DC movies like Superman and all that stuff, but like the Marvel universe has dominated superhero movies, and they've just like. Fuck Ant-Man. I don't think Ant-Man's good, but like I mean like Ant-Man,
Paul
Spider-Man,
Rudd,
Spider-Man's
your movie sucked.
and then you got
I
the
thought it was all
Avengers,
good.
you got X-Men, you got there's all the Black Panther, all this stuff. you got
Kikamu's.
all
Oh,
of them.
sorry, go on.
Well, hold on. So you have all that's the new fad in this modern age, but like when Lord of the Rings came out, I mean, yeah, there's been some fantasy movies, but they were never like massive. But then Lord of the Rings comes out, and it starts this huge, massive influx of a bunch of, I guess you call Lord of the Rings clones, and not all of them were good. I mean, you look at like books like Aragon, the dragon book.
Oh, Aragon.
Aragon
had a
came out as a movie,
plethora
and that
of
movie
fucking
was
Yeah.
That was
awful.
Awful.
To be
fucking
fair,
bad.
though, like that was a book.
Adaptation. That was
The
a
book was
giant
written by like a
clusterfuck.
tteacher, though.
Yeah,
too, right?
he was actually
like,
a
to
kid
be
from
fair,
Montana.
like, that was
Okay, the
pretty
adaptation of the
impressive.
movie was
Yeah,
fucking awful.
No, he was a
Yeah,
kid.
nobody knew
Yeah,
what the fuck they were
I
doing
read
in that
the
production company.
I
with
read
that
the first
property.
2 books of Aragon. It was okay. Yeah, it was like some 16-year-old, 17-year-old kid in Montana. I think he lived in like Missoula or something. Right?
Yeah, it was written by a kid. It was reads kind of like that, but it's like really good
But
for a
like
15-year-old.
but
so.
I'm saying like that screenplay, any company that was going to fund that would have looked at that and be like, no, fuck off. No way. But the fact that Lord of the Rings did so well, they're like, yeah, people are just into fantasy. If we put enough special effects in it, people will watch it.
But like
They
the
even- they
impressive
even
thing
made
was
a
is
Jason
Lord of the
Statham
Rings
fantasy.
wasn't special effects. A lot of Lord of the Rings
There
was
was-
makeup. Like
Yeah.
the orcs,
Yeah.
the orcs was makeup, and like nowadays
Some-
it's like, oh, special effects, like just wear a green suit, we'll Photoshop.
Yeah, a
you or
lot of the
whatever.
big battles though
But,
were,
like,
were
yeah,
special effects.
oh,
But
the-
I'm just
the
saying
battles,
the,
yeah, they
I'm
were
saying
really
the
good.
fantasy genre. But it's not just Aragon. It's like things like
Well, to me, wait, Lord of the Rings had one major factor that set it apart from all the other fantasy movies that flopped. They actually used traditional theater actors for over half the cast. Ian McKellen,
Right, they
Kate
had-
Blanchett.
well,
Viggo
they had the
Mortensen. These
budget.
People are great stage
I mean,
presences when they do
yeah,
live
if-
shows,
if
and
you
they
look-
presented that onto camera beautifully.
Yeah, if you looked at the budget, like Lord of the Rings, I think it was like roughly like 200 to 300 million per movie. So like it was almost $1 billion to make all 3 movies. That is an insane budget that you get to work with, and so you can afford to hire top end actors like Elijah Wood and Ian
Yep.
McKellen and Agent Smith, whatever his name is. So you had this whole influx of like fantasy, and you had the World of Warcraft movie. But I think World of Warcraft had done fucked up because they kind of came out at, well, one, it looked like a shitty movie. I didn't even watch it, and I like World of Warcraft, but it came out kind of like as the fantasy era was dying down, and people were just like, I'm tired of seeing Lord of the Rings clones. Like you had the Hobbit movies, which I thought were shit. I liked the Hobbit book, but the movies were crap. If you took the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which is 10 times longer than the Hobbit book, and turn it into 3 movies, why did you think you could turn the Hobbit book into 3 fucking 3-hour movies? I don't know. But anyway.
There was a lot of studio interference too. If you actually go
So
look at,
the thing is, like,
production
the
logs.
the fantasy fad had died off, and then here we go, like 4 or 5 years later, and you get or Game of Thrones coming out, and it's like reviving fantasy. And it was a risk because I bet a lot of people may have thought like, oh, here's another fantasy shit, why bother? And it ended up being really fucking good.
I think
they,
the
they
difference
just did
was
so well that people were like, I'm hooked.
I think the big difference was that, you know, like Lord of the Rings, like if you read the books, they're like what, 1,000 pages each, and they crammed it all into like 3-hour movies, which were still pretty intense. They had to leave a lot of detail out.
It's like
What do you-
1,200 pages for all 3 books. For
Oh,
Lord
is
of
it?
the
Oh,
Rings.
I thought it was
That's all.
1,000. Okay, so they weren't
That's
that big
all.
of books, but they had a lot of backstory that still had to be removed. And so when people are like, "Oh my God, these movies are so intense," you know, it's great storytelling for a movie. It doesn't stay true to the books, but you know, like it's still really good. Whereas like Game of Thrones came out and they're like, "Hey, we're a TV show," and everyone was like, "What the fuck? A fantasy like?" You know, TV show with like sword fighting and some magic and lore. Like people were
Boobies.
really confused. It was completely
sex.
different than anything that had happened before.
I don't think sex was the only because there's
The-
tons
the
of shows on
adult
HBO
theme
that
of
have
Game
sex.
of Thrones is what dragged a lot of that 9 to 5
I don't
audience we were
think
just talking
boobs
about
were the
to it.
draw to
There's
this
the fact
episode.
that it was the adult Lord of the Rings, basically, is what attracted a lot of people to it.
I-
It's just like, why am I going to watch fantasy elves and orcs fight? That's kid stuff.
Well,
you know, that's D&D stuff.
No,
But hey, this got prostitutes. This got people getting their head chopped off. Got
there's-
dragons
yeah,
eating
there's more
people,
realistic to
undead
it.
zombies. It like ticked all the marks.
yeah,
for
it
TV
was
at
a
the
lot more
time.
exciting. Okay, I thought you were saying like it was the sex appeal that was the only draw for the show. It's like no.
But it
Because
was
like
the
you think
main-
about all the really
it was the
cool
main
stuff that
appeal
happens in
to it,
Game of
part the
Thrones.
adult aspect of the show.
I would say like if you think about all the really cool like oh man this scene was awesome this was the best part. Almost none of those are got to see Emilia Clarke's boobs. Got to see Theon banging this red-haired like hooker in a. It's like
Rosalind, may she rest in peace.
yeah like Ygritte is the one.
You didn't
sad.
even get to see her titties.
Egret, yeah, you did.
Isn't
Did?
Egret married to
What?
Kit
Yeah,
Harington
Egret's
in
the
real
one
life?
that banged.
Yes.
Egret
I
is
thought
the
so
one
Jon
that banged
Snow
Jon
and
Snow.
Ygritte are married IRL, and like
Yeah,
no
they
joke,
weren't married
that
at the
was like
time.
the only part I got emotional throughout the show a
They
lot, but
weren't-
like that was the
yeah.
only part I got like stupidly fucking
They
emotional.
weren't.
Like
they weren't
were
married
my-
when they started.
No. They got married
met,
after the show.
They met on the show, started dating, and then throughout the seasons, and then eventually got. I think they got married after Egret was already dead off the show.
It was once
Yeah,
she
it was
realized that Jon Snow
adorable.
knew nothing. Then
But
she
yeah,
got
like
it.
loved
they
it.
were
She
by
knew
the
she
time
must
they
teach him from
by the
that
time
day
they did the
forward.
cave sex scene, they were already dating. And I remember seeing an interview with Rose Leslie, which is Egret, and she was like, it was really kind of uncomfortable because this is like an intimate thing that we do on our own, and we have 30 people standing around watching us and filming it. Now, they weren't like, actually, that rarely happens in film where they actually have sex.
porno.
Well, porno, it's
What?
Bound
definitely,
chicken,
but there
brown
are
cow.
some movies that the actors are actually having sex and it's not a faked thing with a
Can you
dick.
name these movies for science?
Wait,
What?
Yeah, there's a
For
few.
science.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's a few. I've seen them on porn sites.
Is there a website dedicated to this?
and there's a reason they're there is because it's
Just
actual
because
sex.
Ron Jeremy technically has a
Nymphoma-
degree in acting.
okay, so
doesn't
here's
make his movies
probably the
legit,
biggest
bro.
one. Here's probably the biggest one. Nymphomaniac is a borderline porn movie.
Okay, yeah.
And it's one of those movies that is not going to be shown in theaters because it does have like pure, and you could tell like you watch scenes like that's
No, it's 'cause it
insertion.
has Shia
But this
LaBeouf in it.
it has Shia LaBeouf, and and the sex scene at the end. It's literally Shia LaBeouf actually having sex with a girl on It's like Shia LaBeouf porn.
And that's why it will never be shown in theaters. Nobody wants to see that
it
shit.
can't be shown in theaters because it's not like shown sex where people are just like sitting on each other's laps gyrating. It shows the penetration.
I've seen the movie.
So,
I've
yeah.
seen the movie.
Oh yeah, well, me too. I mean,
I bet you've
the
watched it a few
fuck?
times.
Rain, it's porn. I gotta watch it.
Stop! It's so weird.
It's on Netflix.
Anyway,
it's not porn.
we've gone off of.
It's on Netflix?
We've
Okay,
gone
we're
off of Game of
way off the
Thrones.
rails here.
Yeah, we've gone off of Game of Thrones big
It's
time.
just like the girl with the dragon tattoo, except imagine if she was just.
It
a-
was
a
for
slut.
science. Yes, thanks. Cersei gets it.
Yeah, science.
Yeah, shots.
It's
Science,
2308. Should we do shots and then go to After Dark?
yeah, that's who shots
We
the
got
after dark.
later, bitches.
We actually didn't really cover much of Game of Thrones tonight.
That's okay.
finale.
They're
They did
kind
need
of.
to be
It's like
covered.
we kind of covered like Bran's
Okay,
King.
Well, okay. Here's the
Arya
interesting
went.
about Game of
Oh,
Thrones.
okay. So hold on. Did,
Okay,
oh,
so
The finale got banned in
Go.
China.
did it?
It was that bad.
In China?
Yeah, China like blocked the airing of it.
Why?
I mean,
why
They were
is
afraid
that-
it was going to spark
There
democracy.
was some kind of issue, I think, and they just
Because
do
of
it
the
for stupid
democracy
reasons.
thing? Because of, yeah, the democracy
Well,
comment?
technically, fantasy media is actually illegal under Chinese provisions.
Oh,
they
so it's
probably
not just
use
the
excuse.
finale. Like, wait. You can't tell me they would block only the finale and not the previous ones if fantasy was illegal.
That would just be cruel.
Like,
They do that stuff.
I'm
all
trying
the
to
time.
think
They-
of, like,
they ban
what-
Japanese soap operas when they get popular because they find. Some
I'm
bullshit
just trying to
excuse.
think, like,
oh,
what-
the fantasy elements. It's spreading
what-
witchcraft.
what in the last episode particularly got it banned? I can't.
I don't know. I'm
There
not a
wasn't any
member
like
of the
gruesome
Chinese
deaths. There was
government.
there wasn't
I
any
don't know what
like
their
all
bullshit
this stuff.
standards
Like in previous episodes, there's gruesome deaths. There's sex scenes. There's nudity. There's all this other stuff. And I'm trying to think in this episode, there's what like a cripple put on the throne, and they don't want anyone to think that like that's a
maybe the
possibility
censors
in
didn't
China.
agree with that. Who knows? I'm not Chinese. All I know is I saw the article earlier today and I laughed my ass off.
I don't know. But anyway, shots and
Later,
Yeah,
bitches.
probably because they're actually
All right.
Chad's
go to
point
after
is
show.
because of a rise up against the leader, and
it was
they're actually
banned
10
due to
minutes
rising
square
up against
footage.
the
Oh,
Later, bitches.
later, bitches.
All right, later, bitches.
Later, bitch.
Going after dark.
Still in black, fuck niggas wanna red.